Good morning, early game crew. It is a Black Football Friday edition here of the early game. And, well, you have calendars. You all know what that means. That means not just that Thanksgiving was yesterday, but today's Black Friday. That means tomorrow, here in about 30 hours at Williams-Brice Stadium, it's South Carolina. It's Clemson. It's for a Palmetto Bowl trophy and bragging rights that will exist all the way up until this time next year. I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Preston Thorne. She's Jen Jensen. We have our final preview of Carolina Clemson in a year where it wasn't ideal for either team. You can call it the Disappointment Bowl. You can call it the Sad Boy Bowl. You can just call it the last game of the year for South Carolina because that's what it is. But most importantly, it's Carolina Clemson. And that alone means a lot around these parts. Hope everybody had a really good Thanksgiving, by the way. Before we break into that, had plenty of food, plenty of football, enjoyed myself immensely, and got really tired and sleepy at like 9:30. Just the way the good Lord intended.
That's late.
That's late, yeah.
Yeah, after a busy day of food, cooking, football and all the things, you get tired.
The minute that you stretch out, you get real sleepy. You get really, really sleepy. There is actually some really good news for Jen Jensen, just because your Chicago Bears didn't play.
Yeah, today at 3.
But the Lions, however, lost to the Packers again on Thanksgiving at home. Second time in 3 years.
Which, let me tell you, that was a conflicting thing for me because, yes, as far as the division goes, I wanted the Lions to lose, but I wanted the Packers to lose too. So that's a hard one for me.
Because that's the thing, too. With that division right now, I would be, if I'm Jen, I would be more concerned about the Lions because I know the Lions got swept by the Packers this year, but I feel like I'd be more threatened by Detroit.
Completely.
Because of their roster build and how good they were last year and how good they've been at times this year. Now, they've slipped a little bit. The Packers are actually playing a lot better. But the Packers have been bound to lose some games they're just not supposed to. So if I'm a Bears fan, I would take my chances battling out for the division title against Green Bay.
I agree.
So I think that was probably maybe the best result you could have gotten yesterday.
I think so. Like I said, for us, it's just so difficult to watch anything green and yellow win. But as far as our chances for the postseason, yeah.
So now so they have the Eagles tonight or today because that's at 3:00, and then you're in Green Bay the next week, and then you host Green Bay 2 weeks later. So your destiny's like firmly in your control here, and then you end the season against the Lions. So I guess the more separation you can get to avoid a winner wins the division game against the Lions, you'll take. But how you feel about today's game?
I mean, we're not at home, but that's okay. We don't have to be. I feel like the offense has been coming alive a little bit more. I don't know. I feel pretty good. Again, in Ben we trust.
That's right, as it should be. In potential NFL Coach of the Year.
Yeah,
Ben Johnson.
exactly.
Potentially, he's in the running for it, and you could make a good case that he wins it.
That would be really awesome. Just to have at this point, winning anything, coach, team, whatever, feeling good. But no,
any type of accolade. Jen's going to take any type of accolade she can get.
Yeah. Best sneaker award. I don't care. But no, I don't know. I feel pretty good. I don't know that it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I think it'll be a good game.
Yeah, I think so too. You know what? I won't be surprised if the Bears end up winning. They're 7-point underdogs, which I feel like is a little large, considering the Eagles have just kind of maybe the most unimpressive 8-3. Biggest news yesterday, though, in the NFL. I mean, you can maybe make the case that Joe Burrow coming back and beating the Ravens and making the Ravens 6-6 and making that like the ugliest looking division in football is one. But Cowboys, Chiefs, the Cowboys did it again. They beat the two teams that participated in the Super Bowl in, a 4 or 5 day stretch? That's remarkable. And the Chiefs are 6-6. So are the Chiefs finally gone? Now, technically speaking, because they did lose 31-28, it's another one-score loss, which makes 6 one-score losses after that. So
oh, wow.
We like to do the grill thing on here. Preston Thorne of the Chiefs cooked.
I think I'm going to have to say they're cooked. You know, last year it was all about the one-score wins, and now we're back to the other side, and I don't see them coming back from it because Patrick Mahomes did all the Patrick Mahomes things last night, and they still could not win.
See, I can't remember the exact year that Isaac Newton discovered or came up with the 3 laws of gravity. According to the internet here, it's around 1665 or 1666. What we know of gravity is only about, 360 years and some change. But what I can tell you is that Isaac Newton would agree with me that what comes up must eventually come down. Mm-hmm. And a team that went 12-0 in one-score games last year, going 1-6 in said games this season, is merely regression. And it counts in sports too, and it's happening to Kansas City. And now they're like multiple games out of a playoff spot. It's getting early.
And the biggest thing that would scare me is that Patrick Mahomes is making magic as usual, and they cannot win. And so it just feels like they might have to reset this whole thing and obviously start over with him as a centerpiece, but this might be it.
Yeah, the defense isn't bailing him out this time. Did last year a lot. Not bailing him now because Dak Prescott tore him up like 300-plus yards yesterday.
What's the Taylor Swift effect?
Ooh.
Is this the Taylor Swift effect?
Is there a correlation between album sales and wins? Now, album sales for her, she could release a bad one and still sell a bunch because of her popularity. But if this one is not as selling at the same rate the previous ones are, then that would also signal regression. Now, Travis Kelce cooked.
Well, yes.
He had one yesterday, hit him right in the hands, and he dropped it.
Yes, Elijah, that's true, but he can still dance when he scores a touchdown. So his value is still in what made him popular to start with. But also, going back to the Taylor Swift conversation, that album might have sold, but from what I've seen, the Swifties were not necessarily very excited about it.
See, I've seen that too. I have not seen the actual number of sales, right? Because there's nothing I care less about in music than how many records or how many albums you sold.
Correct.
I need to listen to it and see if I like it and see if it's actually any good. So if it's not any good, then I don't care if it's sold a bunch. That just means you are immensely popular, not that the music you released was really good. Well, right now, because the Chiefs immensely popular, but not performing. I think the Kansas City Swifties not happy with 6-6 and being 2 games or so outside of a wild card spot because the AFC wild card picture is incredibly competitive. Yeah, they're going to need to either win out or maybe only have one more game for margin for error and hope other things happen.
You say that, but then I fall asleep because I'm overdosed on tryptophan and turkey yesterday.
Danny Hurley would not be pleased with you.
The Ravens lose too, so we're looking at two teams that we thought were going to be good. Hint, hint. Maybe a theme for the weekend, and they're just not.
Oh, that is. Are you telling me South Carolina and Clemson are akin to the Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens? Maybe.
I mean, there's a scenario. I would hesitate to put us in that category because we haven't won enough. But I would say 2 teams with very high expectations who just aren't getting it done.
No, and like that loss last night, I feel better about the Ravens, not because of anything they actually did on the football field, because I cannot fathom how they have gotten just so mid so fast. Like if these 2 teams played today, we'd have to call that game the Mecca of mid. If the Chiefs and Ravens ever met on a football field, but that entire division in Baltimore, mid. Because as bad as the Bengals have been, that win last night got them within 2 games of the division lead. They're 4-8.
Oof. Woof.
Like what we say the NFC South was coming into the year could very well be the AFC North.
The AFC North is who we thought they were?
Oh, maybe the opposite. I thought that one would actually be good. I was expecting them to all be good. I was like, that's a 12. You have to win that division at 12 or 13 games.
I'm sorry. I got my internet memes mixed up. They are who they think I am.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Yeah.
Or the NFC South was looking at him saying, call an ambulance, but not for me.
Exactly.
That division is broken. And if for anybody outside of the state of South Carolina looking at these two teams that are playing tomorrow at noon, you would have said both of these programs or teams are broken. Maybe not programs, teams. And if you want to get into a larger picture, then we can discuss programs. But tomorrow means a lot. Even though the records won't be exactly what they thought they were going to be coming into the year, neither of these teams are going to win our Denny Green Award in terms of being who we thought they were back in the summer. However, it's been disappointing. And on the outside looking in, this is no longer a nationally prominent game in terms of college football playoff relevance like it was last year, or just being in the limelight on television, because a game that we thought would be on ABC or ESPN will be played on the SEC network. I hope my man Dave Neal's on the call. But, because that gives a little JP Sports flair to it. However, it's still a big deal around here. That's all we care about, is how big a deal it is around here. And that's what makes this rivalry rule to me, is that you can have a season like this where both teams are disappointed, and the fan base won't be checked out for this specific game.
Elijah, I've said it multiple times. It's even a little bit more fun when both teams kind of stink, because we need to figure out who's better. At least we ain't you. And that's a real fun premise for a rivalry game.
Mm-hmm.
At least we ain't.
Yeah, and that's really what's on the line in this game, right? Last year, I mean, I think what David Cloninger on Wednesday when he was on with us said, you only have like 48 more hours that you can make 3rd and 16 jokes or 3rd and Sellers jokes for if you're a Carolina fan.
Right, you got all this material that you've been saving up, but you need to use it in these next 24 hours that we have here, because it all won't be. You have to throw it in the trash. Like, you check on your Clemson jokes, and you might have to throw them in the trash if we don't get this thing done on Saturday.
Yeah, and historically speaking, I mean, obviously Clemson has a large gap. I mean, and I did do the math the other day. I think the overall win percentage for Clemson in this series is like 63%. After 1961 or 1962, when they moved this game to Saturdays, when it was no longer a big Thursday game at the state fair, I think Clemson's winning percentage is about 57%, so that has gone down since that.
We're chipping away.
We're chipping away. And you know what you do if you win tomorrow? You chip away even further. All-time rankings matter. Chip away at it.
One play at a time.
Oh, man, there's a lot to break down when it comes to this game, because, yes, while it might not be as nationally relevant, again, still very relevant around here. So we'll break it down, and we will give our thoughts on this game throughout the day. But coming up next, we'll talk about when South Carolina has the ball. They've improved on offense the last couple of games. Last week against Coastal Carolina, you scored more than 23 offensive points for the first time all season long. And, well, you more than doubled that number. You scored 51. You hadn't broken past 400 total yards in a game all season long, and, well, you had almost that in the first half against Coastal Carolina. Your offense has seemed lifeless throughout most of the year, and then you get into the red zone 6 times, and you score touchdowns on all 6 trips. This looked like a new offense, despite it being Coastal Carolina, because you haven't done this against other inferior opponents this year. Well, how can South Carolina keep up the offensive improvement against a talented, aggressive, yet vulnerable Clemson defense? We'll discuss that next here on a Black Friday football morning here on the early game.
old car and get up to 25% more. Get a new car, but spend no money this holiday weekend at JT's Kia, Greystone Boulevard. Season of New Tradition sales event.
Purple Wave Auction remains the trusted leader in online equipment auctions. What makes the difference is you. You are part of our growing global community that continues to trust Purple Wave with the equipment that builds and feeds America. This trust placed in us by our community, from construction to ag producers and fleet drivers, brings great equipment opportunities to their next owners. Join the Purple Wave community today. PurpleWave.com.
Hey, Columbia. Open enrollment for Marketplace Health Insurance is happening now. Discover what your local South Carolina Blue team can do for you. Located at Irmo Station on St. Andrews Road next to Kroger, Giovanni and her team of licensed health insurance advisors are ready to help you find a Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina plan that can fit your budget and needs. Meet in person or over the phone. Visit the SC Blue team in Irmo Station or at betterwithbluesc.com today. That's betterwithbluesc.com.
Hendrick.
Buy now, but make no payments for 90 days. Shop the Red Tag Sales Event at the all-new Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Choose from an even larger selection of new Chevy and GMC trucks, SUVs, and certified pre-owned. Your new choice for Chevy and GMC sales and service is the all-new Hendrick Chevrolet and GMC. Part of Hendrick Automotive Group. Buy now and make no payments for 90 days at the all-new Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC in Columbia. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Preston here for our friends at Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. So if your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. If it's a cracked windshield, no problem. They'll come out to your location and they'll replace it for you, usually for free, and they'll work directly with the insurance to take away the headache. That's right. They'll come out to wherever you are. School, home, work, it does not matter. Absolute Glass will come out to you and take care of the job for you. Now, if you're at home, you need to increase the value of your home. You can do that with new windows or mirrors, and Absolute Glass will take care of that for you too. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. Say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
It's the Game Network Traffic Report.
As we expected, or certainly hoped, traffic going pretty smoothly this morning. I'm sure some people off today. I saw a couple parking lots of some retail establishments, a little bit busy this morning, but the highways not so much. 51 is going to be our high today. Now the overnight low, it's going to be the coldest night really of the week. Overnight low of 27. So getting up for tailgating tomorrow, it's going to be a little on the brisk side. And tomorrow's high is only going to be 50 for game day. Sunday might see an afternoon shower, 60 for the high. And really the first couple days into next week, we could see a few showers and highs in the low 50s. But right now it is another brisk start, especially in studio. It's 29 currently on the early game.
with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
Touchdown, Carolina!
Football Friday on the Game, sponsored by Bryant's Heating and Cooling. Your comfort is their business. Call today, 803-796-1788 for 24/7 HVAC service.
Now, what has made this game tomorrow, even outside of the rivalry, a lot more intriguing to me than it might have been a couple weeks ago, was exactly what we saw last Saturday. And that's an offensive explosion from South Carolina, having more than 500 yards of total offense, scoring 51 points, getting the best out of Lenora Sellers, getting 88 rushing yards from Lenora Sellers, over 200 yards passing, looking a lot more comfortable, scoring on a screenplay to start the game that Jaden Sellers took 75 yards. Again, we understand that it's Coastal Carolina, but you haven't done this all season long. And that, if I'm a South Carolina Gamecock fan, makes me feel a lot better about maybe beating Clemson tomorrow. And a lot of Clemson fans that I've talked to, whether the ones they have called in here or some that are maybe in this building, a lot of them have talked about maybe not feeling great about Clemson's chances of giving up fewer than 30 points, which is a conversation that we would not have been having around here if that didn't happen last Saturday. So the question is, what can South Carolina do to ensure that they continue that upward trajectory and momentum on offense and be able to score enough points in this game to feel good about winning it? Preston Thorne, you saw what happened on Saturday. You know what this team's got on its roster. We've become very familiar with it over the last 5 months. But what do you think needs to continue to happen tomorrow for South Carolina to get a win in this rivalry game on the offensive side of the ball?
I love the way you framed this question, because my whole conversation was maybe not what we think we need to do, but I would assume what we shouldn't do, because a lot of times, Elijah, when we do these Friday talks, we get into matchups and we talk about strengths versus weaknesses, and there's a glaring strength versus weakness when Carolina has the ball. It's our interior line is our greatest weakness on the team versus Clemson's greatest strength, which is their interior line. And what does that mean? That means that play caller, new OC, interim OC, whatever you want to call him, he's going to have to design plays to make sure you neutralize those dudes, because those dudes have the ability to wreck up game, and we do not. We've proven – oh, I'm sorry, Elijah. We haven't blocked the inside zone yet.
No. No. But it's the most called play.
This might not be the game to start calling them.
No, or let's discontinue that specific trend right there, right, of just spamming inside zone calls. I don't think I want to see a lot of that, because if there's one player in the Clemson defense that I feel like has held up their end of the bargain this year, it is Peter Woods. And you know what I don't want to see? A lot of runs to where Peter Woods can absolutely wreak havoc, right? If we can take him out of the game, I think you should be able to try to do it for the passing game. I would love to see a lot of rolling out, moving the pocket, right? Make Peter Woods have to run east-west instead of just getting a straight line at the quarterback, right? I mean, because what you laid out is perfect. The interior of the offensive line has been really bad this year. And what Clemson does really well, from what I've watched this season, is they do a really good job at freeing up the interior of the defensive line, and they can get a lot of pressure on your quarterback on the interior. They'll do a lot of twists. There'll be some stunts. Peter Woods is athletic enough to be able to win his one-on-one matchups. He's strong enough to be able to just bull rush whoever your center is and get himself into the pocket and kind of condense the amount of space that's back there. You have a good scrambling quarterback. You have a quarterback who is incredibly mobile and probably throws better on the run than he does when he's set. Why not move that pocket as much as possible? Why not throw a lot of passes to the outside and let your perimeter blockers do their thing? That's clearly been a large point of emphasis today, or in the last couple weeks, is getting the ball out to the perimeter and letting those wide receivers block. And it's worked really well. I mean, we even just go look at how that first play of the game was executed against Coastal Carolina. Yes, Jaden Sellers made magic happen once the ball was in his hands, but Jordan Dingle did an incredible job at getting out to the outside, sticking somebody, and now making it an advantageous numbers game for you outside the numbers. I think that's where this game can be won for South Carolina, is where you can be able to sustain a lot of drives. I don't think you should maybe give one running back more than 15 carries in this game. I think a lot of the run plays that you want to do should basically be moved and evolved to those outside passes. And I think that's what can set up maybe a deep shot later in the game, because if we want to talk about strengths and weaknesses from South Carolina's offense and Clemson's defense, Clemson's been very prone to giving up explosive pass plays this year.
There you go.
Darian Mensah had arguably his best game of the year throwing downfield against Clemson. Kevin Jennings at SMU had a lot of success throwing the ball downfield against Clemson. When you have a defense that's this aggressive, and I expect them to be aggressive in this game, that means some safeties we move down to the box. That means corners will be blitzed. That means the numbers game that you have that you can win is going to be on the outside, not in between the tackles.
Yeah, 100%. And like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw some semblance of the play that started against Coastal. You start the same thing against Clemson. Some sort of way where we're trying to make them defend all 53 and a third, as they would say, as far as the field is concerned, because that matchup with the interior line against those dudes up front is not something you don't want to just bang your head against the wall. Elijah, if this was old school football, this might be a game where if we had the old school triple option, where you just option Peter Woods, like, we're not even going to block you. We're just going to read off of you. We're not even going to make any attempt to block you. We're going to let you do all the work, and we're going to run behind you. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some wrinkle in the run game where they're trying to basically option off of, or even old school counters where you let them run upfield a little bit and you kind of block behind them. Because I just think trying to block him straight up, like, we can be tough guys or we can be stupid. We don't need to be both of them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, what this year in 11 games has told you that you can expect Boaz Stanley to win against Peter Woods or Rodney Newsome to beat Peter Woods, right? I've yet to see it. Right. If somebody has, let me know. But I have not seen anything that would indicate that, right? In your tackles, you're going to have to win. Because, like, despite maybe not being as productive, T.J. Parker is considered to be one of the better, I guess, edge rushing prospects in this draft. Maybe the 5th or 6th best at that position in this draft, and that's clearly slid since
his name will be called Day 1, though.
Day 1 or Day 2? Yeah.
Very tight, close to Day 2.
It's going to be very close. But at the beginning of the year, I mean, I think guys like Mel Kiper, Todd McShay, were talking like top 15. And I don't think that reality exists maybe as much anymore. But despite maybe not the production you might have expected, still incredibly talented. We can't let the tackles off the hook here either. You need a big game from Josiah Thompson, because if you can't at least let a downfield pass attack develop, then you're going to have to bank on screens and a lot of outside runs being what wins you this game, and you wouldn't feel as good about that if that were the case.
Agreed.
Yeah, so that's what we think South Carolina needs to do on offense. Now, when South Carolina's on defense, you're facing Cade Klubnik for the 3rd year. And fun fact, Cade Klubnik has yet to throw a touchdown pass against South Carolina. Well, can the secondary make that trend continue? And how do they keep that offense at bay and not allow an explosion on offense for Clemson on Saturday? We'll discuss this matchup from that side of the ball coming up next here on the early game.
Steps back, 3. Yes, sir.
The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And now 96.9 HD3 The Game in Charleston.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free.
Sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina.
Hey, Columbia. Open enrollment for Marketplace Health Insurance is happening now. Our local South Carolina Blue advisors are ready to get you enrolled. Visit us at Irmo Station next to Kroger or at betterwithbluesc.com. That's betterwithbluesc.com.
Every Gamecock has felt it. Under the lights at Williams-Brice, towels swinging to Sandstorm, catching sight of Cocky and belting forever to thee. With all you got, the Carolina spirit stays with you. And the Carolina Jackpot is one more way to keep that spirit alive. Every $5 scratch-off funds education, helping future Gamecocks carry on our traditions. And now it's easier to play by paying with the debit card at participating retailers. The South Carolina Education Lottery, supporting Gamecocks, students, and you. See the Players Club app or sceducationlottery.com for game odds and more information.
Hey guys, it's Jay Phillips, ready to turn your backyard into a stunning retreat. Look no further than Architect, the Midland's premier outdoor living space designer and builder. They specialize in creating custom decks, patios, porches, and sunrooms that suit your style and budget. Their expert team guides you every step of the way, starting with a no-charge consultation. Discover endless possibilities at architect.com. Call them today and let them build your dream outdoors.
Hendrick.
Buy now, but make no payments for 90 days. Shop the Red Tag Sales Event at the all-new Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Choose from an even larger selection at the all-new Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC.
With approved credit, see dealer for details.
Even the best players need a strong team behind them. Atkins Law is always there for you, whether you're hurt on the job or in a motor vehicle accident. Who you hire matters.
You focus on recovery, and we'll handle the rest. As proud Gamecock alumni, we understand what it means to have a good support system on and off the court.
So when life takes an unexpected turn, trust the team that fights for you.
Call us at 803-251-6406 or visit hollyatkinslaw.com.
At Carolina Power Equipment in Casey, we're here to help you get the job done right every time. That's why we have new Kubota inventory rolling in daily. From tractors to construction equipment, Kubota's dependable and versatile lineup is ready to tackle whatever work comes your way. Whether you're a builder, landscaper, or landowner, we've got the power you need, backed by the Kubota reliability you can trust. Visit Carolina Power Equipment, your local Kubota superstore, at 2490 Charleston Highway in Casey, or online at carolinapowerequipment.com.
If you are looking for a local, reliable, and family-owned HVAC service right here in the Midlands, you can trust our friends over at Krantz Cooling and Heating since 1983. They've been taking care of residents and businesses right here in the Midlands. Krantz Cooling, that's K-R-A-N-T-Z, cooling with a K, KrantzCooling.com, or 803-672-3224. You can schedule a visit online and get more information at KrantzCooling.com.
With approved credit, JT's Jeep Ram is awash in high-quality used vehicles. This is an amazing opportunity for anyone trying to build or rebuild credit. Choose from over 20 vehicles under $11,000 and 100 cars and trucks under $20,000, like a 2024 Hyundai Tucson, just $18,990. And the best part, just $99 down and you're riding. Credit concerns? See what JT can do for you. JT's Jeep Ram 378 Lexington.
Hi, I'm attorney Michael Jeffcoat. Let's press pause for a second. No lawyer can guarantee the outcome of your injury case. Nobody, and I'm not going to either. But here's something I will guarantee. If you hire the Jeffcoat firm after a car wreck, we'll do right by you. And if you're not completely satisfied in the first 30 days, you'll owe us absolutely nothing, and we can part as friends right then. That's the Jeffcoat no-fee guarantee. Call 803-200-2000.
Responsible attorney Michael Jeffcoat, 1333 Main Street, Columbia. Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass. It's the Game Network Traffic Report.
All looking pretty good on the highways this morning. 51, that's the high we're looking for today. Sunny out there. Overnight low is going to be 27, so your tailgating tomorrow morning, it's going to be a little brisk. Might want a warm beverage. 50 for your high tomorrow, so game day should be a little on the cool side. Really, it's looking to be about 48 at kickoff. And Sunday, 60 with a chance for some afternoon or evening showers. And those continue into Sunday and Monday as well. Right now, though, it is a brisk start, 29 in the early game.
Did he ever lay out Ellington?
Oh, man. Oh, DJ Swearinger. Andre Ellington, meet DJ Swearinger. Oh, man. Oh, thanks for the imaging there for telling us who we are. I almost forgot. But because if I got hit that hard by DJ Swearinger, I would forget who I was. But maybe my favorite, individual play from this rivalry was DJ Swearinger and his hit on Ellington. And you know what? Maybe the penalty's worth it in hindsight. You won the game. So in hindsight, it's worth the flex that happened after the play. Defensively, you want that type of intensity tomorrow, Preston Thorne. Because while this offense has underperformed this year and there are serious questions as to whether or not Garrett Riley is the answer long term, I think it's probably not. There's still an element of explosiveness this offense can reach. You just don't want them to be able to realize that on Saturday in your house.
Yeah, man. I'm going to be very honest, man. I kept hearing all the Cade Klubnik talk, and I think he's fine. But this is the third year, I guess, we've seen him, and he still does a lot of the same silly things that he did when he was a freshman. And that, to me, if I was a Clemson fan, that's the thing that would really bother me. I mean, he's obviously physically gifted and he can make all the throws and he can run. Not sneaky athletic, Elijah. Actually athletic.
Actually athletic. Sneaky athletic in a Taysom Hill kind of way.
But he still does some silly things, man. And that's the thing that I think is probably a little bit more frustrating with him. And all that being said, maybe Clayton has the ability to dial some stuff up and force him to give the ball away like he likes to do on occasion.
Yeah, and if you think about it, Klubnik has started against South Carolina 2 seasons, and in those 2 games, he has not thrown a touchdown pass. Now, the only touchdown they scored in 2023 was a defensive score from Khalil Barnes, and the only 2 scores they had last year at Clemson were Cade Klubnik touchdown runs. He has yet to throw for a touchdown in this series. How much is that going to matter? Do we think Clayton White has a little bit of an edge here? I think there is something to be said with that, right? I feel like South Carolina's done a really good job at getting pressure on Cade Klubnik the last couple of years. I think that trend continues, though. I mean, this is one that you need. You're going to have your whole room bank of edge rushers available to you. I think Dylan Stewart's going to command a lot of the attention. But to me, this is still a Brian Thomas Jr. game. You're going to need to see from Brian Thomas what you've seen all season long. And that's his ability to get into the backfield, wreak havoc on an opposing quarterback, and make Cade Klubnik have to throw on the run. That's my big thing. Don't let him have a clean pocket, because his best numbers this year are when he's throwing more than 19 yards down the field. That's probably where he's at his most efficient, and he's been really good from 10 to 19 yards. But make him have to scramble and think about it, right? Make him have to roll outside the pocket and make a play happen on the move, because that's where we've seen a lot of his mistakes this season too. And I think one of the games this year that highlighted that the most was the opener against LSU, where Blake Baker got really aggressive and he was constantly sending pressure. Harold Perkins was chasing Cade Klubnik around the field the entire game. LSU's defensive linemen and their edge rushers lived in that Clemson backfield, and you saw a lot of mistakes made in that game. I think aggression is a really good way, especially from a play calling standpoint, to continue keeping an offense like that at bay.
Yes, and also at the same time, if we go back to matchups, I think we have the advantage in the DB versus wide receiver matchups here. Clemson just does not have the type of dudes that they used to have when they were running up and down the field. I mean, Antonio Williams is good. He's a local product. Obviously, we've seen him in high school. We would have loved it for him to have played in the Gamecock uniform, but he didn't. So he's on the other side. That being said, man, to quote Rick Pitino, dog, Newt Hopkins ain't walking through that door.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Sammy Watkins ain't walking through that door. Like, they don't have those. I mean, you could just go. I mean, Brian Wisco is fine. He's good, but he's not those other guys, man.
No.
He's just not.
No. I mean, and if you look at it, too, like, TJ Moore leads them in receiving yards. Antonio Williams isn't too far behind, and he played 2 fewer games so far this season. Like, Antonio Williams really is, like, the go-to guy. And I'm a huge fan of his game. I just love how he plays, and I think that's going to translate on Sundays. But, like, you're right. It's not the same high-end level production that you got from a DeAndre Hopkins, a Sammy Watkins, or a T. Higgins, right? It's not the same. T. Higgins also maybe one of the best basketball, football crossover players I've ever seen at the high school level. dude could hoop. He could hoop well.
See, and that's where we got the commonality, because I also saw DeAndre Hopkins hoop, and brother, let me tell you something. That man could go. And I think that just speaks to the athleticism that they had in those spots, and they would consistently have those dudes. And not to mention generational type quarterbacks who could get them the rock at any time. And Cade Klubnik he's better than DJU, but he's obviously not those other two guys. So he's a step in between.
Yeah, he's not what the standard became in two national championship seasons, right? Like I like you. I like a lot of what Cade Klubnik does, and if he played for any other program that didn't have Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence before him, that constantly has national title expectations, maybe we just view him differently. But there's been a jump that he has to make that he hasn't made. Right. And I think that's kind of what's held this offense back, because he hasn't made that level jump to get close to the pantheon of what those two other guys were. And that's just the nature of the beast of playing quarterback at Clemson post 2015. Right. Like the standard shifted. Right. The paradigm is a lot different now than it was maybe 10 plus years ago in that program. And he's going to have to play his best game if Clemson wants to be able to go on the road and win this thing. And I think maybe one of the reasons why South Carolina's sitting here as a 2.5-point favorite is because he just hasn't taken that jump. And South Carolina defensively is going to make him have to do it. And I think when you look at Carolina's defensive backs, one thing you can say that they've done really well this year is be opportunistic and force turnovers, whether it be your edge rushers getting to the quarterback, or Peyton Williams reading Garrett Nussmeier's eyes and picking off a pass in the end zone, or whether it's Jalen Kilgore or Gerald Kilgore even, moving over and picking off a pass intended for somebody else. Like your corners here are really smart and have been a strength of the defense. One of the strengths of the defense this year. Brandon Cisse has played himself into maybe being a first-round pick in the NFL. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's cat coverage, Brandon Cisse on Antonio Williams. Okay. And eliminating him from the game plan just because of where Antonio Williams lines up in comparison to where all the places Brandon Cisse can line up defensively. It might just be really simple to take one thing off of Clayton's plate and say, hey, Brandon, follow that guy around everywhere. That's your dude.
And also, Elijah, I'm not convinced that Garrett Riley doesn't catch a case of the pucker ups, the lemon booty when the game gets tight. I'm not convinced.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not either. I mean, you look at even some of the close games they won this year, like the Louisville game. That's a game that anybody who watched it left being like, well, one team won because that's how football works. One team has to win this game, right? We kind of did away with ties many moons ago in college football, but spiritually that game was a tie, that like -7 to -7, right? But they won it because Louisville missed 3 field goals. Like that, it's one of those things. Like Clemson's offense has underperformed given exactly what they have on the roster, which we can certainly relate to here. But which offense is able to just manufacture more against those defensive units is a big thing. And maybe one of the reasons why I lean towards South Carolina winning this game is I trust South Carolina's defense maybe to get more stops against Clemson's offense than I do the other way around.
Yeah, and I think that's a great word of who do you trust. I think I trust Clayton White in a situation more than I trust Garrett Riley to come up with the play or the call that needs to be made.
Yeah, I know. I certainly do too. But one thing that we mentioned earlier was, the one score for Clemson, the one touchdown in 2023 came from an unexpected source, right? Khalil Barnes scooping and scoring. He was an unsung hero, an unexpected rivalry game hero. Dylan Thompson's in that pantheon right there. Rod Gardner's in that pantheon. Demetrius Knight became one last year when he picked off Cade Klubnik to be able to win that game. Who do we see as the unexpected rivalry game hero tomorrow? Well, to give our thoughts coming up next.
The Game Network welcomes our new affiliate 96.9 WIWF HD3 in Charleston, South Carolina.
The Lawyer Lisa Special Teams Contest is back. If the Gamecocks score a special teams touchdown, you could win cash. Just go to 1075thegame.com and register. Like Lawyer Lisa on Facebook, and you could win an extra $100.
I'm the sports machine, Sean Levine, with a Sports Minute. People talk about dynasties in the NBA because we've always got one, whether it's the Bulls or the Lakers or the Warriors or the Spurs. Right now, the Thunder are on pace to win about 75 basketball games. If they win the championship, break the single-season record, and they're back-to-back winners, I'm ready to call them a dynasty right now. I'm the sports machine, Sean Levine.
What's up, football fans? Picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first touchdown scorer wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older. This specific promotional offer is not available in Mississippi, Pennsylvania, Puerto Rico, or Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. In Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. In Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino.
Don't let the insurance companies intimidate you. We'll take them to court. We got a $2.4 million verdict for a client who was hurt in a car wreck. Good heavens, dial all sevens now.
To get your attorney, dial 800 all sevens now.
Herb Glass is responsible for this ad, and cases are handled at 32 Ann Street, Charleston, South Carolina, 29403. Paid endorsement, not actually client. Results may vary.
At Angry Fish Brewing in Lexington, they believe in a simple philosophy. Drink what we can and sell the rest. Join them Wednesday through Sunday to experience some of the finest craft beers you'll find anywhere. Their year-round offerings include classics like Bomb Island, the refreshing Sunny Haze, and of course, the smooth Crescent Moon. You can always find these favorites on tap. And get ready for some new flavors and experiences that will tantalize your taste buds. So come on down to Angry Fish Brewing Company on Fabrister Lane in Lexington. Drink what we can, sell the rest.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
With former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
Football Friday on The Game, sponsored by Bryant's Heating and Cooling. Your comfort is their business. Call today, 803-796-1788 for 24/7 HVAC service.
Carolina trailing by 4. Clock under 12 minutes now in the third quarter. 3 wide receivers set. Shotgun snap. Thompson got some time. Throwing down the middle. Got his man on a bullet at the 10. Ace breaks away at the 5. Touchdown Carolina. Touchdown Ace Sanders.
Oh, man. Speaking of unexpected heroes, I don't think anybody expected Dylan Thompson to do what Dylan Thompson did in the year of our Lord 2012. I know I didn't at the time because the week before that against Wofford, Connor Shaw goes down with an injury. He has to miss the Clemson game.
Speak for yourself, Elijah. Speak for yourself. There was one person who has undying love for the man who adorns my Gamecock Mount Rushmore. That is me, and Dylan Thompson is on my Gamecock Rushmore. One of my favorite Gamecocks ever, simply because he was always there, he was always ready, and when he got his name called, he always answered. Just like he did just then.
The epitome of staying ready, so you never have to get ready. No one can accuse him of not being ready in that game because in that game, he threw for 310 yards, 3 touchdowns, only 1 pick, out-dueling Clemson quarterback Taj Boyd, whose seemingly only sin as the quarterback of Clemson was not being able to beat South Carolina, who only threw for 183 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Dylan Thompson played himself into a pantheon of maybe unexpected heroes outside of Preston Thorne's mind. We have plenty in this game, right? You look at other years, right? Brad Edwards got a big pick six in 1987. You saw, well, we heard from that same game, DJ Swearinger making the play of the game. Khalil Barnes for Clemson in 2023 scored the only touchdown the Tigers had in that game, and they kicked a lot of field goals and were able to win it. Demetrius Knight, we knew was a really good player, big part of this defense, but I don't know if you would have been able to predict beforehand that he gets an interception to seal the deal on the last drive of the game. Who do we think can be that type of player this year?
Ooh, you know what? You brought up somebody. Maybe if I'm calling for something here, strip sack, Brian Thomas Jr.
Ooh, yep. Thinking it. I've been thinking it. I was thinking about that on the way here. I was like, I got to pick one player, and I wanted to be outside of the box. But that's a good one because that could turn a game on its head. You get one of those things when you have them deep in your territory, or deep in their territory. You can completely turn a game on its head that way.
Yeah, that's the first one that came to my mind because obviously he's been playing so well and he's been so consistent, and his style of play lends to making a play, on a coverage sack, and he just kind of gets there, and that's somebody that I could really see doing something interesting on Saturday.
I'm kind of leaning this one because this would be a really good story for the offense, right? We saw what Jaden Sellers did on the first play. We saw what he was able to rack up statistically against Coastal. He's a lot more comfortable in this offense here in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. Clearly, Mike Furry loves getting him the ball. Mm-hmm. And yes, we expect Nick Harbor to be able to play in this game, and Nick Harbor is the big play receiver on this roster. But a year after Jaden Sellers went 3rd and 16 and took it to the house and got the game-leading touchdown, ultimately became the game-winning touchdown in that game, and having the game he did for running for 166 yards, wouldn't it be incredibly ironic that the next year Jaden Sellers gets a score to take a lead late and be able to win this game?
I like what you're thinking here. I like it. That's a great story, and he's come along as a player, and it would kind of silence the critics of people who were saying, he's only there because his brother's there and it's a package deal and all that kind of stuff. He's kind of really put a cease to that with his play. I have somebody else in that same vein. He hasn't had a great season. He's been under the radar. People have been asking where he's at. But the Greenville native, Mazio Bennett, shows up and takes on the upstate because he's been surrounded by orange all his life. And this is the game he decides to show up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he has been very under the radar, right? I mean, some people have called or texted in on Reaction Mondays this year asking if he's still on the team. Mm-hmm. Greenville native against the school close by in Greenville would be a really good storyline. I want to keep on the brother thing too, but I'm going to do it on the defensive side of the ball. We've seen more Gerald Kilgore defensively this year than we have in previous games. Jalen led the SEC in interceptions last year. And now Jalen's dealt with some injuries this year that maybe lends itself to not being as productive statistically as he was last year. But Jalen Kilgore still made a lot of really good plays for the Gamecocks this year. I still remember that tip pass he had against Alabama, which took 6 points off the board for the Tide. But Gerald Kilgore has made some plays too. He has interceptions in games against Missouri this season. He's been able to hop in front of passes and force turnovers. I think if South Carolina's to win this game, you're going to have to force a couple turnovers. Why not do it late in the game whenever it's on the line? Or maybe if it's a tie game, right? And he's able to pick off a pass and turn it into a potential field goal opportunity to win it. I don't know. I can see something like that happening. I'd like to put Gerald Kilgore in this too. I'm sticking with two brothers here for my nominees.
That's a very, very solid nomination.
But you say that's the best part of this rivalry, right? It's almost kind of like a Super Bowl when it comes to sometimes the most remembered players aren't the ones we thought would be the most remembered players. Who are yours? 803-404-6100. We'll get to some of your texts as well. But kicking off hour number 2, we have an incredible Black Friday slate of college football starting at noon, and we'll get to that next.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
Sponsored by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Train Heating and Cooling Systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Plus tax, tags, and title with approved credit. Call 866-243-4623 for details. Forget Black Friday. It's Green Friday at JT's Jeep Ram. Get up to $10,000 in rebates for your Christmas shopping. Drive away in a new Ram or Jeep today with up to $10,000 in rebates in your pocket. That's right. It's your money. Upside down, trade in your old car and get up to 25% more. Before holiday shopping, see JT and drive away with up to $10K in your pocket. Highway 378 Lexington. JT's Jeep Ram. Black Friday sales event.
Hey, this is Paul Romanstein, proud owner of Midlands Landscape and Lawn. Got a big outdoor project in mind? Whether it's a possible patio, retaining wall, or complete backyard makeover, our new location has the supplies you need: the decorative stone, gravel, fill dirt, sand, mulch, and more. Plus, our on-site experts can help you walk through every step. We make it easy, and we deliver too. Visit us at 1612 North Lake Drive near the Lake Murray Dam. MidlandsLandscape.com.
Exciting news from Traditions Fine Jewelers. This Black Friday weekend, they're offering you 50% off their stunning collection of sterling silver earrings and pendants. With over 300 pieces to choose from, hearts, crosses, hoops, and more, all regularly priced at $49.99, now just $24.99. But hurry, these deals are limited. Once they're gone for good. Don't miss out on these amazing savings. Traditions Fine Jewelers, where the Midlands get engaged.
Looking for a dealership that treats you like family? Come to Herndon Chevrolet, where we've been proudly serving Lexington and the Midlands for over 50 years. Whether you're shopping for a new or pre-owned vehicle or just need expert service, you'll find it all right here. Shop online anytime at HerndonChevy.com or stop by and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
Attention Gamecock fans, discover Tilly's Warehouse, the first wine and spirit store in 5 Points in 20 years, offering competitive pricing akin to big box stores. Explore their prime location and impressive selection. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook for updates and specials. Visit them behind the Salty Nut Cafe in the old Pavlov's building on Green Street. For more information, head to TillysWarehouse.com. It's Tilly time. Experience the best in wine and spirits today. Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass. It's the Game Network Traffic Report.
Wonderful Friday morning on the highways. Nothing to report, and we welcome that. Should be a little less traffic flow today as well. 51 under sunny skies today, but that overnight low of 27 is going to make tailgating tomorrow morning a little on the chilly side. Kickoff tomorrow is supposed to be about 48, but daytime high tomorrow 50. On Sunday should be 60, maybe an afternoon or evening shower coming in. And maybe a chance for a couple showers on Monday as well. Next week, we'll be looking like we'll be staying kind of in the mid-50s, but currently 29 on the early game.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The early game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell. Let's get it. And Jen Jensen. On the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app. It's Football Friday on The Game. Sponsored by Bryant's Heating and Cooling on the Game Network.
Oh, what a day. Arguably my favorite Football Friday every single season. Hour number 2, the early game, starts right now. breaking it down. I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Preston Thorne. She's Jen Jensen. We're not only getting you ready for Carolina Clemson on Saturday, but we have an amazing day of football planned here in just 5 short hours. Preston Thorne, we get the Egg Bowl, another one of those rivalries that simply just delivers every single year and always has a lot of intrigue. And then, of course, at 12 o'clock, if you're just a real sicko for some Midwestern football, Iowa and Nebraska is playing simultaneously. But that's what you have YouTube TV for, is to be able to watch both at the same time. But at 3:30 on ABC, Georgia and Georgia Tech played in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That game should be played at Georgia Tech. It should be a campus game only. That's really dumb. Don't get me on this tangent. Don't make me. I'm fighting it. I'm not going to go down that road. 7:30 on ABC, right after Georgia Tech. Texas A&M is playing at Texas. Now, it would be the most Texas thing in the world to be able to spoil Texas A&M's perfect season so far and potentially keep them out of the SEC championship game. I know that would be something Longhorn fans would savor in terms of ruining a year for the Aggies. So much today, and that's not even getting to the games that we have tomorrow, right? Because we still have Ohio State at Michigan. Miami's at Pittsburgh, a game where Miami can keep maybe Pittsburgh out of an ACC title game and get themselves back into an ACC title game mix. We have a lot of fun rivalries. Vanderbilt, Tennessee, really for the first time in a long time, Vanderbilt's going into this game feeling really good about themselves in terms of being able to win it. And if they win it, does that put them in the college football playoff picture? And then, of course, LSU's at Oklahoma. Wisconsin's at Minnesota. If you like seeing two football teams play for one giant axe, I know I do. There's so much going on Saturday. The Iron Bowl, too, which it wouldn't be the most Auburn thing to be able to keep Alabama out of a playoff by beating them with an interim head coach. I think it is. This is ripe for weirdness, but if we're sticking just to today's games, to start, the team with a better chance of pulling off the upset between Georgia Tech and Mississippi State would be who, Preston Thorne?
Elijah, this is why you're a pro, because you framed this question in such an amazing way. I think it's Mississippi State, man.
I think so, too.
I think it's Mississippi State. I mean, and I'm not even talking about because we don't know whether are the representatives from LSU and Florida going to be there with a rose to hand to Lane Kiffin as he walks off the field at the end of the game, and Ole Miss runs out crying because they got shunned by their ex-lover. All kinds of stuff. I'm not even talking about that. Mississippi State has been frisky all year.
Mm-hmm.
They just haven't quite figured out how to get it done, but they've been fun to watch all year. And this might be the game where they sneak up. By the way, where'd you say, where's this game being played? Is it in Oxford or Starkville?
This is in Starkville.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
Uh-huh. I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Man, listen, man, that might be the one.
I think so, too. And you look at some of the games Mississippi State's lost this year. 1-score loss in overtime to Texas. 1-score loss on the road in Gainesville. 1-score loss at home against Tennessee, in which they had a multiple-score lead late in that game. They've gotten so close to being. This team could very well, they're 5-6 right now. They could very well be 7-4. Right? Like there's a couple plays here and there that's really keeping Mississippi State from being in a position to have this game looked at as, instead of maybe Ole Miss being 7.5-point favorites, it being like a 3.5-point favorite type deal. And with what you just mentioned too, with the whole Lane Kiffin thing, we've already established that this is probably the worst Hallmark movie ever created in terms of the Lane Kiffin character circle, because it's not an arc, it's a circle. We're just swinging this thing back around again, and we will in the next 5 years too. I can guarantee it.
Mm-hmm.
But what the visual that's now really funny in my head is the Bachelor analogy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at the very end of The Bachelor, where there's like 3 women left or 2 women left, and whoever gets that first limo over to our Bachelor, that's always the no. If the woman that's getting in the limo first is not the one who's getting proposed to, he's breaking the bad news first. And right now, if we were putting this to 3, Ole Miss is in the first limo.
I agree.
Right? Keith Carter sitting in that first limo thinking he's about to get proposed to, only for him to be like, wait a minute, what time is it? There's no way. Sundown's not for another 3 hours. There's no way he's proposing right now. It's me. I'm the one that's getting kicked out of here. That's them. Now, really, it's between LSU and Florida, and I think Florida's getting limo number 2, and LSU is getting in that final limo, and they're going to really start feeling it because the sun's going to be going down, and they have the perfect shot for that engagement. But I think there is a real distracted coach alert thing here. And while I think Lane Kiffin at least handled the distraction part as well, if you're going to take the job anyway, it's sometimes hard to hide what your hand is. But I do appreciate him meeting with his players and saying, hey, look, this is what's going to be talked about this year or in the next few weeks. Maybe he's gotten them locked in. But at the same time, when you have a foot out the door, and you're playing a team that has nothing to lose and wants to beat you more than anything, what would really elevate Jeff Lebby's program at Mississippi State? Winning that game and ruining what you have and sending Lane Kiffin out of Ole Miss on a sour note. That, along with that, would just be the most Egg Bowl thing to ever happen. I love Mississippi State's chances there. And as it pertains to Georgia Tech and Georgia, a month ago, I would have told you this game is going to go to maybe more overtimes than we did last year. But these two teams are just going in different directions right now. Georgia Tech's defense can't stop a nosebleed after being really good for the first 6 or 7 weeks of the year. And now Georgia's really figured it out on offense. I know we both talked about early in the season, Gunnar Stockton and Haynes King. Like, we don't know if they're good quarterbacks. We know they're dogs. Gunnar Stockton has more so graduated into he's a really good quarterback, and they have just been lighting people up, and I have a feeling we might get a typical Georgia Tech score today.
And, Bobo doesn't care. Bobo would not mind playing this game in 17-14. He would love that.
Yeah. Oh, he would revel in it.
He'll put his tuxedo on and show up for that. That's exactly what he wants. That game is intriguing because Georgia hasn't been necessarily high-powered. Georgia Tech sort of come back to earth a little bit as far as the team that they are, but it's still going to be a very, very fun game. And I've been watching some banter on the internet, mainly through my guy Josh Foster. He's just been strictly calling them nerds all week, and I love it.
That's the easiest go-to. That for George, that's a layup, man. Like he has been gifted a layup in that rivalry just to call them nerds and say he's going to shove them in a locker. Like, yeah, that is the free space on the Georgia Tech hate bingo card for him, I'm sure.
I mean, it's just been a straight line to nerd, and it's pretty funny to watch actually. So. That's something that I pretty much enjoy. I wanted to say something else, Elijah, and it's this game on Saturday. But rarely have I ever cheered for Tennessee in this game.
Oh,
and I am cheering for Tennessee to put an end to this misery.
Oh,
and I'm a Barkley guy, but I got to get Pavia and his mother out of here, man.
Oh, now the mom's taking some spotlight too.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No.
They gotta let's move them to the side.
Yeah, I mean, the railing at Vanderbilt, if that thing was a human being, it's pressing charges, right? After what we saw a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely Mom, what are you doing? Stop.
I would, oh man, I'd have been so embarrassed. I'm like, Mom, please, for the love of God, can we not?
Yeah, make it stop.
Can we not thirst trap live at football games, please?
Yeah. So I rarely have I ever been in the cheering for Tennessee mode, but I am definitely here now.
Oh man, and honestly, I do think Tennessee wins that game. I picked them to win that game.
Okay.
Mostly because I think it's just a mental block in my head. I just grew up with Tennessee. Like, I think Vanderbilt won that game for the first time in my lifetime when I was 13 years old. And that was a streak that went like 26, 27 years, right? It was a long time before Vanderbilt even beat them once. And
I understand what you're experiencing. It's the same thing like around these Thanksgiving holidays. You go and you see your cousin, and they're just like, wow, look at you. You've really grown up. I can only remember you when you was this tall. That's the way you see Vanderbilt, right?
It is, and it always will be, right? We always
you don't see him as a fully formed football program. You're like, come on, man.
No.
You mush him in the head. You give him a noogie. You're like, come on. This is Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I don't care if you hit a growth spurt and you're somehow 6'7". I'm still gonna kick your tail. You know, that's how this works. That's how all these get-togethers go, right? Even last year, they went to Vanderbilt in a year where Vanderbilt had one of their best seasons in a while, and they just beat the brakes off of them. Mm-hmm. And trust me, that Neyland Stadium crowd, I'm telling you, there's a reason that's where I learned how to curse, right? I learned all the words you can't say that the FCC won't allow you to say in that stadium. And Diego Pavia's talked it a lot. That will be the most hostile environment he's faced.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that one's going to be juicy. But I want to throw a takeout y'all's way here real quick, and you let me know if I'm the crazy one, because Michigan's beaten Ohio State the last 4 years. They spoiled it for them last year, the whole flag planting thing and everything. Ohio State maybe had the unhappiest national championship of any team in the history of college football because they had to hoist that trophy with the knowledge they still didn't beat Michigan, right? And you've never seen a more conflicted fan base, spoiled and conflicted fan base, but conflicted nonetheless. I think Ohio State runs it up this year. Not only do I think they beat Michigan, I think they run it up. And I think they want to send a message. I think that one might end up being like the ugliest game of the weekend. I know Michigan has like this magic to them whenever they play Ohio State, and the streak is a real thing. But quarterback plays improved as good as Will Howard was last year. I think Julian Sands better. I think that defense, despite losing 8 or 9 starters from last year's team, has gotten better. Michigan can't throw the ball. They run the ball really well, but they're really banged up on offense. I have a feeling that if Ohio State, especially if they score on the first possession of the game, they are going to put their foot on the gas, and they remember everything that's happened in the last 4 years. And the pettiness of that rivalry will not lend itself to Ryan Day taking it easy on anybody. I think they want to make a statement so bad to the point that I think Ohio State probably wins this by 30+.
That's intriguing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You think Ryan Day's still looking for Lou Holtz? Where's Lou Holtz?
Not only will he be looking for Lou Holtz if they win that game, he might actually have him and hold him hostage in that stadium until he says something nice about Ohio State.
Where's Lou Holtz?
I wonder where Lou Holtz is at right now. Ryan, it's like 11 p.m. He's probably asleep.
Probably has been since 7.
Probably has been. I have a feeling.
I think it's going to be a really good game. Like you said, knockdown, drag out. But interesting about Ohio maybe winning.
Yeah, I think if they get the chance, if they get the chance to embarrass them, we're going to see some unsportsmanlike stuff in that game.
And they should take it. They deserve it. I wouldn't be mad at that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
No, honestly, I want to see more people run scores up in that situation.
Lord knows I was a part of one. Ooh, buddy.
Someone running it up. Like in these petty rivalries, something like that happens, they're absolutely going to do it. Like at this point, I expect it on Saturday.
Yeah, all sportsmanship rules should be off in this.
Even flag planting. We had a fake moral panic this time last year about flag planting. Like, you know what? You don't want them to plant the flag on your field. You had 4 quarters to do something about it. Sorry.
They're planting flags everywhere. What are we going to do?
Somebody think of the children. There are kids watching this. No, it's college football, man. You know what, Jack Sawyer? You don't want Michigan to plant the flag on that stupid O in the middle of your field? Well, maybe you should have done something about it in the 4 quarters you were on the field, because you showed more fight in the post game than you did during the game. Come on. Miss me with all that. Like, come on, dude. There's something you can do about it, right? Don't get mad about failing the test and want to do something after it. Maybe study before the test and prepare yourself to actually succeed whenever the lights come on. Now, the lights were on in Las Vegas because it was a busy weekend. Good Lord. My whole concept of time has been messed up. But it was a busy week in Las Vegas. Dawn Staley and her Gamecocks beat Duke and then saw a very familiar opponent. May or may not have been the 5th time in 2025 they saw this opponent. But did we have a similar result we've seen to the other 4 times? Spoiler alert, we did not. We'll discuss that coming up next in the morning meeting.
The Game Network, Columbia, Florence, Myrtle Beach, and our new affiliate in Charleston.
Powered by Integrated Media, the Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass, shepherdsglass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia, the Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
I'm Fritz Drescher, owner of Atlantic Windows and Doors. For over 40 years, Columbia homeowners have trusted us to make their homes more beautiful, comfortable, and energy efficient. We install top-tier windows and doors, never using third-party installers, just our own trained team. You've seen our work in your neighborhood. Are you ready for your turn? Visit awdsc.com and let's get started.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass, shepherdsglass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia, The Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
The Gant family with Pioneer Tree Service has been taking care of trees in Columbia and surrounding areas for over 48 years. Pioneer Tree Service provides tree and shrub removal, pruning and thinning, tree planting, cabling and bracing, raising tree canopies, stump grinding and removal, storm damage services, property cleaning and grading, right-of-way maintenance, and more. They also provide 24-hour emergency tree removal. They can also handle the removal of diseased and dead trees before an emergency happens. Call them today for a free estimate. 803-794-8253. The Gant family and their team at Pioneer Tree Service can be trusted to provide professional and quality tree services with affordable pricing for residential or commercial jobs. Ashton Smith called Pioneer Tree Service and said they came when she was leaving for work, and when she got home, the tree was gone, as if it was never there. She was so impressed with Pioneer Tree Service, she will definitely use them again. Here's one of the Gant girls, Madison Gant.
Call us today for a free estimate at 803-794-8253 or check us out online at pioneertreesc.com.
Plus tax tags and title with approved credit. Call 866-243-4623 for details. Forget Black Friday. It's Green Friday at JT's Jeep Ram. Get up to $10,000 in rebates for your Christmas shopping. Drive away in a new Ram or Jeep today with up to $10,000 in rebates in your pocket. That's right, it's your money. Upside down, trade in your old car and get up to 25% more. Before holiday shopping, see JT and drive away with up to $10K in your pocket. JT's Jeep Ram Dodgeland on Greystone. Black Friday sales event.
Kickstart your day at 9 a.m. with your Carolina Pick-Me-Up, sponsored by South Carolina's largest injury law firm, George Sink Injury Lawyers. If you're injured, call all nines today.
Get George Sink Law Firm on the line. Call 999-999.
At AAA Heating and Air, home comfort is their top priority. Call today to schedule a seasonal maintenance appointment and let AAA Heating and Air's qualified technicians put your mind at ease with a thorough inspection and cleaning of your heating and cooling system. Join their popular AAA Comfort Club to take advantage of extras like flexible visits, added discounts, and priority scheduling. Call 803-677-1500 to schedule today and tell them Jay Phillips sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
U.S. Brick has been firing local clay right here in Columbia for nearly 90 years, longer than many builders have been in business. They've supplied materials for everything from neighborhood homes to government buildings and institutions. Still American-owned and family-run, they're backed by a local team with decades of experience, the kind of people who still pick up the phone. Visit U.S. Brick's new Exterior Design Center at 300 UG Street to explore all they have to offer beyond brick.
Purple Wave Auction remains the trusted leader in online equipment auctions. What makes the difference is you. You are part of our growing global community that continues to trust Purple Wave with the equipment that builds and feeds America. This trust placed in us by our community, from construction to ag producers and fleet drivers, brings great equipment opportunities to their next owners. Join the Purple Wave community today. purplewave.com.
It's the Game Network Traffic Report.
All good on the highways. No significant slowdowns. And all we're going to deal with today really is sunny skies, just a little bit cooler than it's been recently. 51 to be the high. 27 is our overnight low. So the morning festivities before the tailgate, before the game, going to be a little cool. And tomorrow's high should be topping out at about 50. Overnight low of 34. Sunday, we should hit a high of 60 and maybe some afternoon showers or so. Then we'll be in the 50s all of next week. with some chances of rain in the early part of the week. But right now, it is a little on the brisk side. It is 29 on the early game.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
Touchdown Carolina! Football Friday on The Game, sponsored by Bryant's Heating and Cooling. Your comfort is their business. Call today, 803-796-1788 for 24/7 HVAC service.
On the morning meeting, we like to take a quick break from football and get you updated on other important headlines in the world of Gamecock athletics. And Don's team got to play in that prestigious, now I will say prestigious in air quotes here because there's been a lot of debate in the basketball community as to whether or not the Players Era event in Las Vegas is good for the sport. Bad on the men's side, but the women's side, they did it right because they actually had a bracket, and that's kind of what matters. That's actually doing the whole thing the right way. So I let that one slide. That one actually was a good event. But they played Duke in the opening round. They won and got to face a familiar foe in the championship. We'll tell you how that goes here for this week's morning meeting.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Repeat after me. Today will be an awesome day.
Yeah, it will.
Let's go. Good morning, great today. Today will be an awesome day. Good morning, great today. Today will be an awesome day.
Preston Thorne, I am tired of breaking down South Carolina, Texas women basketball games. This is the 5th time this year I've sat in the studio and talked about them playing because they played twice in the regular season last year. They played in Greenville for the SEC title game. They met in Tampa in the Final Four, and now they met in the championship of the Players Era event in Las Vegas. But only the second time, however, we're talking about Vic Schaefer and his Texas Longhorns getting a win because they escaped last night, 66-64. Rory Harmon, with a second left, hits a fadeaway on the kind of like the short corner there to be able to get the game won for Texas. And for South Carolina, it's the first loss of the season, and a couple of warts have been exposed in this game. Not saying it's a doomsday loss for South Carolina because they're still going to be considered a favorite for the national title, one of maybe the 3 or 4 nationally. But I think you honestly have to put Texas in that discussion because of how they played. And I think for South Carolina, there are a few things that absolutely have to be fixed moving forward.
Yeah, and I fell asleep after going into halftime. So I woke up this morning and got caught up on it. But my big thing is if I looked at Madison Booker versus Tanai Latson, the idea that a big guard can go get points when they need to versus Tanai, she's a scorer, but you can see her sometimes when she goes down into the trees, it gets a little bit testy in there.
It certainly does. And for Madison Booker, like a relatively efficient 16 points. Now, one thing that kind of separated South Carolina in this game or in these games last year was Bree Hall basically just going one-on-one with Madison Booker and making life hell for her. Maybe you don't have that at the small forward position this season, right? Tessa's a really good defender, but will give up maybe an inch or two in size. But the big thing for me was just the amount of missed opportunities, whether it be they were 12 for 16 from the free throw line, but they missed some big ones, right? Joyce missed a couple of really big ones late in the game that would have made it a different ball game. But going 16 for 32 at the rim is what cost them, ultimately, right? You went 16 for 32, and you only got 2 bench points. Last year, you were winning games against Texas where the bench had almost as many points as, other teams would in games against Texas. You had 2 points come off of your bench. That puts such a scoring strain on your starters. And considering Raven Johnson's never going to be one to score 25 plus or whatever in a game, that's just not what she does well. She's good at a lot of different things, and her value is facilitating, running the offense. You don't have to bank on her scoring 10 plus. She only scored 5, so that means most of your points, really, 57 of the 64 points were scored by 4 players. It puts a lot of strain on them. And when Tanaya Latson is struggling to finish around the basket, it makes things really hard. They were 16 for 32 on shots at the rim. In 2-point range in general, they were 23 of 51. And this week in Las Vegas, Duke included, they were 57 for 115. I did the math, so you don't have to. That's 49.5% from 2. You're under a point per shot when it comes to making 2-point baskets. That's incredibly inefficient. Now, you can look at this in a glass half full way and say you played that poorly, shot that poorly from 2-point range, and it was still a game tied going into a last-second shot. Yes, absolutely. But there's things that needs to be figured out in terms of who you're going to rely on off the bench to be able to get you buckets when you need them, and who in games can be able to finish around the basket consistently enough for you to win. Because really, if you just shoot 55% from 2, you might win this thing pretty comfortably. Defensively, they still did fine. Defensively, they do what they do. And when you hold a team like Texas to under a point per possession, that's good enough to win you that game. But when you don't take advantage of the opportunities that you are given late in the game, then you're going to find yourself on the wrong end of one-score games if you were to get into a lot of them.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And for me, when I'm listening to you, I guess when I'm watching a football team, I got about 3 games is my point where I figure out I think I know who the team is. For you, when you're watching a basketball team, how far into the season is it before you can kind of figure out is this who they are or where they're becoming?
That's a really good question. I think for this team specifically, because Dawn's teams do play a lot of marquee non-conference matchups, right? So you see them tested early. Like for Lamont's team, I'll know by the time we get to conference play, because they play the 2 games in Greenbrier. They're going to play Clemson and Virginia Tech, who are really good tests. I'll probably see with Lamont about 2 weeks into SEC play. We probably don't need anything more than the month of December for me to get a really good feel, because you still have to play Louisville on the road. That will be a really close game. And you've played Duke, you've played Texas, you've played Southern Cal, you've played some marquee matchups. And a lot of those games, like you'll see Texas again, I think we'll know what they are. And I think right now they are a really good team because they're still elite defensively. They have the potential to get hot from 3. The one thing that I just need to see more of is what are you from a 3-point shooting perspective? Because they only took 17 threes in the last 2 games. That is incredibly low in a 2-game stretch for anybody at any level in modern basketball. And they only hit 3 of them in these last 2 games while they were in Las Vegas. They went 3 for 17 from 3. Now, that can come and go, but how much of that are you actually going to try to engineer on offense? Because if we see here in the following weeks or against Louisville or early in SEC play that maybe at best you are a 55% 2-point shooting team, you might have to shoot more volume of threes to be able to maximize your potential.
That makes sense. All right, that was very strong basketball talk. I have 2 off the beaten path observations.
Yes.
Okay, really quickly. I really want to like Vic Schaefer. There's nothing in Vic Schaefer's past or anything where I need to not like him, because I really want to like Vic as a coach. So do I need to do any digging, or can I go ahead and say that I kind of like this guy?
I think you like Vic. I mean, okay. Vic's one of those. He's a lifer. He's been doing this for a long time. High level of success.
Second question: in these 5 times, what is the analytics on Vic taking off of his blazer? Because he came out of it early last night.
Oh, I don't know if that blazer. So in 5 games, that is a grand total of 10 halves of basketball. I think the blazer has been on in 2 halves of those games.
Okay.
The equivalent of one game.
He came out early last night. I just wonder if that's just a thing where he's like, okay, I'm gonna start the game professionally dressed, but I'm coming out of this immediately, because the assistant coaches, they knew, they got up, they handed the blazer, they folded it up. But I just wonder if that's a thing.
Against South Carolina, it comes off earlier than most any other game. Now, Mike Furry wasn't wearing a blazer. At least I don't remember him wearing one at the press conference earlier this week. He talked. We'll hear what he had to say about this big matchup coming up next.
Steps back, 3. Yes, sir.
The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And now, 96.9 HD3 The Game in Charleston. Gamecock fans, get ready for something new this season. Charleston now has a new station for Carolina sports talk. Dial in to 96.9 The Game on HD3. Head to 96.9 FM and on an HD radio, punch into HD Channel 3. You'll unleash live Carolina coverage you can listen to all day long. New on HD3. It's 96.9 The Game HD3, South Carolina's newest sports station.
Sponsored by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Train Heating and Cooling Systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent Train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
You haven't tasted real Carolina barbecue until you've experienced Little Pig's Barbecue. Full service dine-in buffet with barbecue, ribs, brisket, chicken, rice, hash, tomato pie, macaroni and cheese, and many more of your favorites. Eat in or take out. Little Pig's Barbecue on Alpine Road has new hours. Now open from 11 to 8 Thursday through Saturday and 11 to 3 on Sunday. Little Pig's Barbecue on Alpine Road. Little Pig's family looks forward to seeing you.
Football season is here and Columbia, South Carolina is buzzing. Just like Saturdays in the SEC, there's one name that's been a constant on the airwaves for over 18 years. Jacob Crowder with First Palmetto Bank. Some great players have worn garnet and black, and they all have one thing in common. Their football careers were legendary, but none lasted as long as Jacob Crowder's tenure on 107.5 The Game. Whether you're looking to purchase, renovate, or invest in today's real estate market, Jacob Crowder is the hometown expert you can trust. Make your first call the right call. Reach out to Jacob Crowder at First Palmetto Bank today. 803-719-1005.
Thank you, Bill. If you have bought in the last few years, rates have lowered enough for us to have a conversation. Call me today, 803-719-1005, or email me, jcrowder@firstpalmetto.com. First Palmetto Bank is an equal housing lender. All loans are subject to approval, and my NMLS number is 198432.
Want to unlock the power of athlete marketing to grow your business? Garnet Trust has recently launched a business membership program, making it easier than ever for your business to work directly with a USC student athlete. Visit garnettrust.com today or call 803-250-1765 to see your business boom.
Hey, this is Jen Jensen for CHW Cabinetry. My family is using CHW Cabinetry, and they are fantastic to work with. They make sure you're satisfied with every step of the process. Not only do their photorealistic renderings show exactly what your new space will look like, their job site guarantees everyone is on the same page, literally. Experience the CHW difference for yourself. Go to chwcabinetry.com to see more or call them at 803-520-6837 and be sure to tell them Jen Jensen sent you. CHW Cabinetry, passion from inspiration to installation.
With approved credit, JT's Jeep Ram is awash in high-quality used vehicles. This is an amazing opportunity for anyone trying to build or rebuild credit. Choose from over 20 vehicles under $11,000 and 100 cars and trucks under $20,000, like a 2024 Hyundai Tucson, just $18,990. And the best part, just $99 down and you're riding. Credit concerns? See what JT can do for you. JT's Jeep Ram 378 Lexington.
The French dip is back at Firehouse Subs, piled high with premium roast beef, caramelized onions, and melty cheese on a freshly toasted garlic butter roll, served with warm, savory au jus for dipping. This premium French dip is only at Firehouse Subs for a limited time, so head to your nearest Firehouse Subs or order on the app and try the French dip before it's gone. Limited time at participating Firehouse Subs restaurants while supplies last.
The United States Soccer Federation presents the U.S. Soccer Podcast.
This is the show where we bring you in-depth interviews with U.S. soccer stars. This time, Sam Coffey.
The World Cup is in 2 years. Is it time yet? Can we get back into camp?
Tim Ream.
We're going to continue to show other countries we're not going to be pushed around.
And Jedi Robinson.
Every time you come back and you put the jersey on, it means more and more each time.
So we'll be back here with all the best stories.
The U.S. Soccer Podcast.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app. It's the Game Network Traffic Report.
As expected, less traffic out on the highways this morning, which is turning into kind of a nice morning. Not a lot of activity, so great news in that respect. And as far as your forecast goes, yep, we're looking for sunny skies. Definitely cooler than it has been lately. 51 is the high today, 50 for game day tomorrow. And in fact, our overnight low tonight, it's going to be 27, so you can imagine how brisk it is going to be in the morning when you're doing a little bit of tailgating. But again, daytime high tomorrow, 50, 60 on Sunday with maybe an afternoon shower. Currently sitting at a chilly 29 on the early game.
Oh, it's the biggest football Friday of the season. And our last Gamecock Football Friday. We'll have other Football Fridays, of course, but just the last one featuring the South Carolina Gamecocks. And one of the biggest storylines in this game, a resurgent offense who has finally found a little bit of a rhythm, right? You had 23 points on offense scored against Texas A&M. As our pal Nick Harvey comes in from Team WIS with a Tupperware full of mac and cheese. That is what I'm talking about. A man of his word.
Outstanding. Preston, you should have been here for this.
Good call. I like it.
The leftovers today. Oh, that's where the money's made. But you had 23 first half points on offense against A&M. You scored 51 against Coastal Carolina. A valiant improvement. They're starting to figure it out a little bit. Now a little too late to do it, but they're improving a little bit. How much can they do in this game against Clemson to be able to score enough points to end this season on a high note? Well, Mike Furry spoke on Wednesday, so this is our first opportunity to get to hear from him this week. This will be Cut 13, Jen, because I asked Mike about what Clemson does defensively and how you can maybe combat that, right? We talked about the blitz rate numbers, where there have been a few games this season where Clemson's blitz rate was actually over 50%. They've shown themselves to be aggressive when it comes to getting after the quarterback. I expect them to be aggressive on Saturday, and I think a lot of people expect them to be aggressive. Tom Allen's defense to send bodies to the quarterback. So how can South Carolina combat that? What's Mike Furry thinking in that regard? Here's what he had to say.
Well, if I'm as talented as they are, I probably would do the same thing. You know, they're pretty talented all across the board, but and they're very, they're a very aggressive defense. So, we just have to just make sure our guys are in the best position, and that we put them in the best position, that we don't have a huge volume of stuff. So that they understand and get different looks through practice, just so that all the stuff that they've kind of shown and where people are coming from, or the coverages that they're displaying on the back end, and those kind of things. So I think it's really just simplifying things, and then giving these guys as many looks as we can through the week, so that they've seen it live and they're prepared for it, and we can talk about it throughout the game if something comes up.
Mike works better when I turn it on. Preston, I think I could agree with the sentiment. Yeah, if I was as talented as they were, I think I would be as equally aggressive. But what did you take from what Coach Furry had to say about maybe combating an aggressive yet talented defense?
Yeah, I think he made a very key philosophical point, is that you always hear coaches talk about simplify, and that kind of gets lost in what does that actually mean. But he laid it out. We are only going to do a few things because they do a whole plethora of things. And so we need to be able to adjust the couple of things that we do to all of the variety that they have, so that we're not surprised. We're not trying to run a different play because they're running a different play. We're running the same play, but we just know all of the different variations that we run based upon what they do. And that was again, Elijah, it's kind of sad to hear that, but that was the first time I heard somebody on the offensive staff say something like that this year.
It is, yeah. Refreshing, yes. However, not so chill to be hearing that for the first time in late November. Nick, you look at this game, too. You know exactly what South Carolina's been on the offensive line this season. We know that Clemson's strength of their defense is going to be up front. We saw a lot of success in the screen game, quick action passing game. How much of that do you think is going to be the setup to maybe longer passes, maybe more shot plays? Mike Furry likes to call those. He admitted, against Texas A&M, he took 13 of them. Do we see that get set up maybe more by some of the outside perimeter plays that we saw against Coastal Carolina?
I hope so. I mean, we saw so much of it work so well against Coastal, and granted, Coastal's defense maybe isn't the best defense you've seen all season, but again, it worked, and you saw it not work with a completely different offensive scheming style. I don't want to say it's a different play calling style, because there's probably only 4 or 5 really different plays that are in that calling scheme from Mike Furry, but the way that he scripts his play calling is a lot different. And I think if they're able to expand the perimeter and run a lot of these quick action passes and just get it out and turn upfield and get 3 to 5 yards a rip, as soon as you start motioning guys out there, or you send someone into the flat, or you're sending somebody on a bubble and somebody starts taking off downfield, you have an opportunity to take a shot, because then the defense is starting to guess. They're starting to anticipate these short passes where you're just trying to find open room and get upfield. Then you might have Nick Harbor, who's sprinting well past a safety, even if they have somebody over the top, because they've cheated up a couple yards because they see that action of a receiver trying to get outside and just catch a quick 2-yard pass and get upfield.
Yeah, and that's Nick Harbor's usage in this game, in terms of just the things that I'm most curious about, is probably number one on the list when it comes to South Carolina's offense. So when we're breaking down this matchup from South Carolina having the ball, how Nick Harbor is going to be used in this game, because I think we all expect him to be able to play. Shane sounded really enthusiastic about his ability to be able to play and be good to go tomorrow. Preston Thorne, do you think the optimal usage of Nick Harbor in this game is for not just the deep play that we've seen him succeed on a few times this season, but maybe in the plays that are setting up those potential deep shots?
Well, I mean, we saw against Texas A&M, we saw for the first time, he took basically a hook, a 12-yard hook, and took it 80. So that means that he has that capability, and you're able to do that more. So I would say, yes, obviously the deep throw is an option, but he's made himself, and this is credit to Nick and maybe Coach and Mike, that he's made himself an option in the intermediate game also.
Mm-hmm. Certainly. And one thing I thought of, because I wanted to bring this up in our 6:30 segment when talking about when Clemson has the ball. So it's like kind of a quick pivot to the other side of the ball here. When it comes to looking at what Clemson's done well offensively, it might be hard to maybe gauge battle testedness, right? That's probably not a word, but I'm making it up on the fly here.
We'll allow it.
Yeah, it will pass here. Battle testedness. Because I did look through, just out of curiosity, how many teams inside the top 25 of defensive SP plus South Carolina's played this year? 6. We'll go down at the end of the season with South Carolina having as many games against the top 25 in defensive SP plus than they do not, right? Clemson has played 2. 2 of them. Now, if we move that number to the top 27, then that number gets up to 7 teams that South Carolina has played in the top 27 SP plus on defense. Clemson, only 2. When it comes to trying to look at what Clemson's done offensively this year and projecting on Saturday, Preston, how much does that matter?
I think it matters a lot, because when you have to play these games and you have to see whether or not you can do it against teams that are at that level. So yeah, I think that's something that you would definitely take to your team and say, look, we played against these type teams. They haven't, and they still only have this type of record.
Yeah, that's one thing I thought about that I wanted to throw out there before we hit a break. But you guys like conference championship games, right?
Yes.
For the most part.
Yeah, they're fun. Well, what if I told you there actually is one tomorrow? You be intrigued?
Okay.
You're intrigued? Okay, you're intrigued. I will tell you more coming up next here in the early game.
The Game Network welcomes our new affiliate 96.9 WIWF HD3 in Charleston, South Carolina.
The Game phone lines at 803-404-6100. Sponsored by AAA Heating and Air. Now offering 12-month payment plans on all HVAC or electrical repairs with no credit check. Online at callAAAtoday.com.
Hey, it's Preston for Cato's Power Equipment. Cato's Power Equipment has been family-owned and serving the Midlands since 1983. That's over 40 years. And third-generation owner Ben Cato provides top-notch service, great deals, and the mom-and-pop values that you love, while determining to keep the standard of sales, service, and retail as high as possible. So at Cato's, they're proud to offer a wide selection of new and pre-owned mowers, tractors, and more. So if you're ready to invest in something new, the friendly team is there to make the process easy, help you choose the right equipment, find financing options, and keep your gear running strong with expert service and parts. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a seasoned landscaping pro, Cato's has got you covered with a huge selection of new and pre-owned mowers, powerful tractors, and all the gear you need to tackle any outdoor project. So swing by Cato's Power Equipment today or call them at 803-254-3711. That's 803-254-3711.
I'm the sports machine, Sean Levine, with a Sports Minute. People talk about dynasties in the NBA because we've always got one, whether it's the Bulls or the Lakers or the Warriors or the Spurs. Right now, the Thunder are on pace to win about 75 basketball games. If they win the championship, break the single-season record, and they're back-to-back winners, I'm ready to call them a dynasty right now. I'm the sports machine, Sean Levine.
It's the season to come together over your holiday favorites at Starbucks. Warm up with a creamy caramel brulee latte, get festive with an iced gingerbread chai, or share a velvety peppermint mocha. Together is the best place to be at Starbucks.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we provide no-cost digital resources in place of textbooks and most courses. And that's not all. You'll receive your accredited online education at an affordable tuition with a choice for more than 135 degree and certificate programs. With online and hybrid courses, get everything you need to succeed again. Learn more at umgc.edu, certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
The holidays are back at Starbucks, so share the season with a peppermint mocha. Starbucks signature espresso, velvety mocha, and cool peppermint notes, topped with whipped cream and dark chocolate curls. Together is the best place to be at Starbucks.
Life matters. My niece was saving all her money for a video game, but she was having a struggle. One night she was heard praying, "Dear Lord, please help me save my money for this game, and please don't let the ice cream man drive down our street." I think the kid's a genius. She knew her chances of success were increased if she could avoid temptation. Jesus understands that principle too. He taught his disciples to pray this way, "Lord, don't lead us into temptation." He meant that we could ask God to direct our steps in such a way as to keep us from the traps that temptation sets for us. God knows the struggles we face, and He's promised to help us deal with every temptation and difficulty that comes our way. Just ask Him for help. He promised that nobody who does will be turned away. This is Stephen Chitty, pastor of Christian Life. Visit us on the web at ChristianLifeColumbia.com. Remember, life matters, and so do you.
When a parent struggles with addiction or dies from a drug overdose, what happens to their children? Far too many end up in foster care, unable to ever return to their birth homes because it's simply not safe. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is fighting the clock so that teens don't age out of foster care, leaving them at a higher risk of addiction and other negative outcomes that can happen to a child without the love and stability of a permanent family. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
More than 6 million kids in the U.S. have ADHD, and many aren't getting the support they need. At understood.org, we know that parents want to help, especially when their child has questions like, "Why am I always falling behind? Why do I feel so alone?" We provide parents with the resources they need to help kids with ADHD thrive.
Your child wants to thrive. Be the reason they do. Visit understood.org/thereason to get started.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
Football Friday on The Game, sponsored by Bryant's Heating and Cooling. Your comfort is their business. Call today, 803-796-1788 for 24/7 HVAC service.
Championship Saturday is a week from tomorrow, right? We'll get the SEC championship. We'll get the Big Ten championship, Big 12, ACC, you name it, right? Even down to the MAC. Champions of conferences will be crowned. But you know what? If I told you that you wouldn't have to wait until next Saturday for this to be able to be a reality for you, I think you'd be intrigued. Now, if I would have told you that 3 years ago, if you're listening to the sound of my voice 3 years ago, and I say, hey, a Pac-12 title is on the line on Saturday in the last regular season week, you would say, wait, what? Because back in the good old days of college football, the Pac-12 used to be a thing and used to actually have a conference championship game on the Friday night before the others. Well, now it's a whole week because, well, we have a 2-9 Oregon State team technically playing for a conference title. Now, y'all, I don't know if it's recognized as such, but you know what? We have fun on this show. So we will crown a Pac-12 title. There are only 2 teams in the league now, but Oregon State and Washington State are playing on Saturday for the second time this year. Oregon State has 2 wins, but one of them was against Washington State. This game's in Pullman. If Washington State wins this game, do we demand a rematch, a rubber match for a Pac-12 title? Now, if Oregon State wins, I think this is pretty obvious. Oregon State is your Pac-12 champion. The decision's easier for us. But if Washington State wins, do we start signing petitions and get a movement to make these 2 teams play a third time?
I'm sorry. Did you say they're playing in Poland?
Oh, Pullman.
Oh, I was like...
Pullman, Washington.
That explained a whole bunch.
I saw the look on your face when he said that.
That explains the confusion, yeah, on Jen's face.
Which then that was just a whole other joke that I was going to have a whole bunch of fun with, but okay.
Well, maybe if Washington State wins, maybe we demand that the rubber match is played in Poland.
There you go. The polka match. The polka ball.
That is where they do the polka, right? Or is that
I think
Germany?
That's a Polish. Isn't that a Polish
thing? Or is it Polish?
We'll have to contact.
Well, sorry, we'll investigate.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. I've got sources.
Who's
that
the other team in the Pac-12 that doesn't have more than 2 wins?
That's sad.
That would be Washington State with 5 because there are only 2 teams in this great league. They've been reduced to 2. Now, next year, they will have more teams because then you'll have all the Mountain West teams that are leaving the Mountain West and joining the Pac-12. And in basketball, Gonzaga will join the Pac-12.
But again, you're telling me that Oregon State at 2-9 has a chance to win tomorrow and be the Pac-12 champions?
By virtue of there only being 2 teams, yes. It is a conference championship nonetheless. I am treating it as such.
I need to hear your thoughts on this because this is...
Listen, a champion, a dub's a dub, man. You take that title. I think they fired their coach this year. There's all kinds of stuff going on, man.
They fired their backup too, right?
Someone made a joke that they did.
Okay.
Yeah, so the interim is still the head coach right now at Oregon. They have not fired the interim yet. But this may be, in terms of special teams, they've had so many special teams gaffes this year that you could maybe make the argument that this year's Oregon State team is the worst special teams unit in the history of power conference football.
No, man. Listen, you take that dub and you roll with it. You're going to hold that title up. The last one of this remaining crew. And I wanted to just go backwards. You might be better off flying to Poland than going to Pullman because that place is very far away.
It's remote. It is as a remote land as you can get in college football. The last time they met, now here's the funny part for all the sickos out there that might be really interested in this game, which you can catch on the CW at 6:30 on Saturday, followed by Ghost Hunters International. And if you stick around long enough, you might get a Gilmore Girls.
It's a WIS channel?
Yeah.
we have the CW.
You guys have the CW?
Yeah.
Gilmore Girls reruns, Ghost Hunters International,
Friends,
the Pac-12 championship between Oregon State and Washington State. Now, the last time this team Supernatural.
Oh,
God,
yeah,
how could
Supernatural.
I forget Supernatural?
Good one.
Oh, maybe we can get that as like a halftime performance. It's just like a reenactment of a Supernatural episode.
Would it be as good as the one yesterday? They're in the Lions game. That was pretty legit.
Oh, I did not watch that.
Eminem showed up.
Oh,
man. Yeah, Slim Shady was there.
Oh, man, I wish I was paying attention at that time. I wish. But the last time these two teams played, Oregon State won a 10-7 football game. This is a sicko's dream. And you know what? If I'm Oregon State and I win this game tomorrow, I'm hanging a banner.
I agree with you, Elijah.
Who's going to stop me?
Hang the banner.
Who's going to stop me? Like, 2025 Pac-12 champs. Wow, Oregon State must have been really good. Yeah, well, for 2 games, we went 3-9.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter.
First 3-9 conference champion ever. There's history and intrigue on the line. Don't tell me we're not crowning any champions tomorrow. Rivalry trophies, yes, but champions, also yes. Because there will be, technically, a conference title game. Unless Washington State wins, then we'll figure it out from there. Hour number 3 coming up next.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com. Sponsored by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Traininfo.com. Train Heating and Cooling Systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit Traininfo.com to find your local independent Train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Sponsored by SC Education Lottery. Having no cash is no longer a problem for making lottery purchases at participating South Carolina Education Lottery retailers. You can now use debit cards and contactless debit cards to buy lottery tickets and help support scholarships for higher education. Playing for fun is a win for education.
At Carolina Power Equipment in Casey, we're here to help you get the job done right every time. That's why we have new Kubota inventory rolling in daily. From tractors to construction equipment, Kubota's dependable and versatile lineup is ready to tackle whatever work comes your way. Whether you're a builder, landscaper, or landowner, we've got the power you need. Backed by the Kubota reliability you can trust. Visit Carolina Power Equipment, your local Kubota superstore, at 2490 Charleston Highway in Casey, or online at carolinapowerequipment.com.
It's 4th down at the 20, down by 6 with 3 seconds left on the clock. You had one too many beers, but you think you're good to drive. But this isn't a game. When you drive impaired, the stakes are higher than any ball game. You will face jail time, pay thousands of dollars in fines, and you could take the life of an innocent person. Make the right call and get a sober driver. In South Carolina, it's sober or slammer. This message is brought to you by the South Carolina Department of Public Safety.
With approved credit, JT's Jeep Ram is awash in high-quality used vehicles. This is an amazing opportunity for anyone trying to build or rebuild credit. Choose from over 20 vehicles under $11,000 and 100 cars and trucks under $20,000, like a 2024 Hyundai Tucson, just $18,990. And the best part, just $99 down and you're riding. Credit concerns? See what JT can do for you. JT's Jeep Ram 378 Lexington.
Kickstart your day at 9 a.m. with your Carolina Pick-Me-Up. Sponsored by South Carolina's largest injury law firm, George Sink Injury Lawyers. If you're injured, call all nines today.
Get George Sink Law Firm on the line. Call 999-999.
Hey, Columbia. Open enrollment for Marketplace Health Insurance is happening now. Discover what your local South Carolina Blue Team can do for you. Located at Irmo Station on St. Andrews Road next to Kroger, Giovanni and her team of licensed health insurance advisors are ready to help you find a Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina plan that can fit your budget and needs. Meet in person or over the phone. Visit the SC Blue Team in Irmo Station or at betterwithbluesc.com today. That's betterwithbluesc.com.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free. It's the Game Network Traffic Report.
Traffic patterns looking pretty good this morning. No accidents to report. We're not seeing any significant slowdowns. A little less traffic on the highways this morning. 51 for the high under sunny skies. 50 tomorrow. will be our game day high. But again, the overnight low 27 heading into in the overnight hours. So tomorrow morning, it's going to be brisk when you are doing a little bit of that tailgating activity. So again, tomorrow's high 50, 60 on Sunday. Could see an afternoon shower coming in. But we are starting the morning off kind of getting us a little bit acclimated to the cooler temperatures. Right now, it's 30 on the early game.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. What a catch! The early game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app. It's Football Friday on The Game, sponsored by Bryant's Heating and Cooling on the Game Network.
One more time. One more Saturday. One more day at Williams-Brice Stadium. Can you hear this song right before opening kickoff? Getting yourself out of your seats, waving your white towels, and we're going to do it against the hated rival, ending the season potentially on a high note. Yes, you are 4-7. Yes, the season has been a colossal disappointment.
On a piece of paper.
But so has Clemson's season. Also been a colossal disappointment. Hour number 3 of the early game starts right now. I'm Elijah Campbell. She's Jen Jensen. He's Preston Thorne. He's Nick Harvey from Team WIS, who picked up 5.5 points with Navy beating Memphis last night.
That was awesome. When I saw that starting to happen, I thought, that's good.
2 weeks in a row taking the Navy. I'll tell you, America wins.
America
when
wins.
Navy wins.
Which is a good strategy.
Unless they're playing Army, because then I got allegiance. My brother's in the Army. That's
yeah.
Can't do it.
You have previous allegiances in that rivalry right there. Which also, speaking of great American rivalries, definitely one of them. Always excited whenever that game comes on. But we have, some people might call it the Disappointment Bowl. Mickey Mouse thinks it's not important enough to be on ESPN or ABC. Because Mickey Mouse put it on the SEC network. Thanks, Mickey. We love you too. But it's still the Palmetto Bowl. It's still Carolina Clemson. And it's still a big deal around these parts. We've been breaking this game down all morning, but we wanted to bring back some discussion here, right? Because I want to know, I want you guys to check me on a take here. Am I wrong to feel more confident in South Carolina to win this game than I have in any of their P4 games since Kentucky? That was the last time that I picked South Carolina to win a game in the a power conference opponent, right? Obviously, I picked them to beat Coastal last week. Coastal is not in the Power 4. But for the first time since that Kentucky game, I'm going into it picking South Carolina to win it. Am I crazy to feel really confident in South Carolina's abilities, despite what we've seen all season long, to be able to take care of business on Saturday? Because I do truly believe this offense has found something to make it even reach, a half of what its potential was, of what we thought it was coming into the season.
Nick, I'm going to let you go first.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree. I think there was a totally different energy about the offense last week. I honestly, in the first half against Texas A&M, I thought the same. I thought that there was suddenly, something clicked. There was it's kind of like, it sometimes happens, totally different sport, but when in hockey, if a goalie lets in 3-4 goals, they pull them. All of a sudden, that team starts playing with a totally different energy. It takes a change to get these guys going and realize we didn't do good enough for this guy. We got to do better for the other guy. And that's what I feel like with Mike Furry, because not only is he obviously more of a motivational person, but he's also he's younger. I think he relates to these guys a little bit more and has a good relationship with a lot of them, that they really want to play for him. They want to execute for him. And honestly, I know there's all this noise about, we make sure you go outside to talk about the OC hire, but if these guys inside the building are fighting for him and playing for him as hard as they are, I mean, if nothing else, it's probably showing me that they have their answer, because if they want to keep playing for this guy, then they know who they want to be their OC. I get you need to go outside and look a little harder, but it seems like there's just a really good inspiration and motivation behind this offense right now.
Elijah, you are not crazy. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because when you talk to the Clemson people, they are not excited about their team. And I don't think it's about them. Obviously, we're both in the disappointment bowl, but I just want to keep going back to, man, I don't think Garrett Riley's it. And if I had to take an OC matchup here, I'd take the dude who's only called 3 games over the dude who's allegedly supposed to be one of the best OCs in the nation. Because
he's getting paid like it.
He's getting paid like it, but he hasn't produced like it yet, and I don't think he will. And I would like to make another prediction here. Garrett Riley will not be back as the Clemson OC next year.
Ooh.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why you can justify or how you can justify.
Especially if he throws up a dud in this game.
Oh, yeah. And you end your season. They're going to play in a bowl game, but again, the last bowl projection I saw Clemson in on CBS was the Fenway Bowl. Clemson's at a point in their program where the Fenway Bowl will not excite the fan base, right?
Elijah, I'm going a step further. Not if they lose, because they could lose, but if he throws up a dud, I'd say -20, he won't coach the bowl game.
Oh, you know what? I can absolutely see that.
Yeah, I see that too.
Again, going back to nor should he coach the bowl game.
And that's another better. This wouldn't be them acting irrationally. This would be, I think, fair.
I think so. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. With the talent they have, I mean, they have talent. They have continuity, right? And I know continuity doesn't automatically lend itself to future success, but that's how Clemson's built their programs, right? That's it, when your blueprint is one thing, and it's the way you've built not just a really good program, you've built a national title program. You've won 2 titles because of your development and your continuity, right? When we look at that 2016 team, we look at the team in 2018 that won the national title, there's a common denominator there. You have continuity, you have a superstar quarterback. Cade Klubnik was recruited to be a superstar quarterback. The continuity really came this year because really outside of Vanderbilt, Clemson had more returning production than any team in college football, and that's what made them such an enticing pick to go far in the college football playoff at the beginning of the season, was because you just had all of that coming back. But the fact that you haven't developed Cade Klubnik anywhere near where you need to be able to put yourself in that conversation, but there have been other elements of this team, even on defense too, where players haven't taken that next step, and that's kind of why they're stuck where they are right now. And if it doesn't even materialize in this game, and you go 0-2 in the SEC again, you go 0-4 in the SEC by losing this game, then that tells you that you haven't even been able to recruit and develop the offense that needed to be able to win games that would really matter, right? Obviously, winning the ACC is what gets you into the playoff, but the separation between that team in 2016 and 18 was they were beating teams like Alabama. You're not in that conversation anymore. And a lot of that's because of a lack of development, despite having really good recruiting classes and despite having a season where 70+% of your production returns. That type of pressure is real. When you're not even winning by the way that you have been winning in the past, but still relying on that blueprint to do so, that's when everything needs to be reconsidered at every asset, or aspect of your program.
Well, and I want to go back to one thing Preston mentioned, and the fact that the fans aren't excited about this team. That's a tale of 2 fan bases, and honestly, a tale of 2 teams. Clemson fans got spoiled by their success in 2018, like 2016, when they were on these runs going to national championships and stuff like that. South Carolina fans haven't had that. We're not having a great year, and I'm not trying to say that it's not expected, especially not after what you did last year.
Yeah.
But to some degree, South Carolina fans are used to the disappointment of having a season go a way that it shouldn't. South Carolina fans are going to keep coming on Saturday, though, and they're going to cheer as hard as they can for their team, and they're going to root against them harder than anybody else in the country, especially when their rival is in town.
Yep, especially for this game.
You got Clemson fans that are coming here all right, well, Hopefully we'll beat them. You know, I hope we just get I just want to get this over with. That's what I feel like. I've got friends of mine. I was talking about it the other day. One of my best friends from high school, huge Clemson fan, offered him to come to the game with me this weekend. Turned it down. He was like, I don't really want to go. I'm good. Like, it's those types of things where, like, as a South Carolina fan, even last week with Coastal, my high school football team, my alma mater, was playing in a state championship last week. And I was like, no, you know what? I want to go see South Carolina play good football, hopefully against Coastal. Like, it's one of the last home games. I'm not going to get to do it for another year. But that's like the general love and passion that South Carolina fans bring to the table, no matter where their team is. People could be bought out, but they're still going to go cheer the Gamecocks on Saturday. Like, that's the difference here this weekend.
Now, in terms of kind of reflecting what you guys have mentioned about Clemson's fans maybe not even being as confident in this game, we did have a call. This was like, what, Preston, Monday, I guess, when Chuck, who's a Clemson fan, called in and says he thinks South Carolina scores 30-plus and beats them good. And I feel like that's reflected in a lot of them. And I think by the time we get closer to the game, then maybe that goes away because ultimately you get caught up in the emotion and the excitement of a rivalry game. And now you're just focused on hoping they just win by at least 1 point, right? Because that's all that is required to be able to win football games, right? The point spread does not indicate. If you win the point spread, does not absolutely mean you win the game. But there is, in terms of a confidence meter, I think South Carolina fans may be a little more confident winning this game than Clemson fans are. And if you'd have told me that would have been the case at 4-7 at the beginning of the year, I would have had a hard time wrapping my brain around that.
Back to what Nick just said, and I caught the very end of what Nick was saying, and I think this is it. Maybe we're just more so used to finding hope in the hopeless,
right?
And maybe we're so more used to disappointment, but we've been here before, and we still are going to cheer this team on. Those folks up there, they're spoiled, and I think they're ready to throw in the towel on this particular game. And I don't know, man. You jump out early. I'd like to see if that team responds. I'm not sure if they will.
Now, in terms of what South Carolina needs to do to be able to make this happen, if we have to maybe hammer home just like one most important thing, what probably is the most important thing for South Carolina to be able to end the season on a good note and get a win against a Clemson team that, surprisingly enough, you are favored to beat going into this game?
I think you get, like, I want to say spread the pocket, obviously, right? Like, that's a thing. But a lot of teams have adapted this year, and they're not, like, they're playing that QB-contained defense really, really well. The North doesn't have a whole lot of room. So get the ball out quick. Quick passing plays, RPOs, whatever it's got to be. Like, you know that you're going to face a challenge with their defensive front, and you have to adapt and play call to that. Like, you can't sit on your heels and call the same stuff and expect it to work, especially if you're getting dominated on the offensive defensive line right there. That trench battle is going to be the biggest key for South Carolina's offense. You get the ball out quick, and like we were talking about earlier, you get a ball out to the perimeter and just let someone get 3 to 5 yards a pop, you're fine. Or if you attack that secondary and you do it quick enough, I think you exploit a lot of the flaws that we've seen throughout the season, and South Carolina can really capitalize on it. I mean, you might see 2 or 3 shot plays that are, well enough protected to get a ball off. Like, that's all you need. I need you to give me the bare minimum, but do it at 100% if you're the offensive line. Protect better than you have all season for just the plays where you need to have it the most. You know what I mean? Like, if that's a conversation you have in a huddle on a timeout, it's, hey, win this rep, score us a touchdown. That's what you need to have.
That's the excitement about a shot play, right?
Right.
Win that rep.
Win the rep.
The reward there for that high risk is a touchdown.
Yeah.
You just do your assignment, do your job on this play, give Little Norris enough time to be able to uncork one, and we'll have Nick Harper make a play for us. That's a pretty enticing proposition there for any offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're going to need to be able to win this game, too. Especially, I think, is communication with the offensive line. Because Clemson has been really creative this year with their blitzes in terms of finding ways to get Peter Woods free on the interior. Like against Duke specifically, that game I saw so many stunts, twists, everything to be able to just get him a little free, right? If it makes the offensive line on the interior have to communicate a little more than usual, Peter Woods is going to get a step, and if he gets a step on you, he's probably getting past you. That has to be better in this game than it has really at any juncture this season, because that's been one of the biggest downfalls of this offensive line is just like some of the basic communication stuff. Right. And you got to be able to do that to keep them out of your backfield. But there was some news yesterday, fellas. And that was a certain coach in the SEC signed a contract extension. Why is that significant? Well, that certain coach has been rumored to be calling around and seeing what job openings there are. But it's not just that this coach re-signed an extension with the team he's currently at, but it says something about this coaching market and something about the world of college football, and it's going to have a domino effect. And I'll tell you what that domino effect is coming up next here in the early game.
The Game Network, Columbia, Florence, Myrtle Beach, and our new affiliate in Charleston.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon. Hello? You won't believe where I am. Are you running? Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Ever seen a university campus built out of vinyl or a stadium wrapped in fiber cement? Of course not. The buildings that matter are built with brick because unlike the flimsy stuff, U.S. brick is sustainable, durable, and just gets better looking with age. Whether you're building new or upgrading your backyard, U.S. Brick has the materials and the experts to make it happen. Visit their new Exterior Design Center at 300 UG Street and build like a champion. Build tough. Build timeless. Build with U.S. Brick.
Terrain changes, seasons change, but Honda ATVs, they show up ready. The 2026 4-Trax Rancher, Foreman, and Rubicon are back, just as reliable as ever. With available 4-wheel drive, automatic DCT, and independent rear suspension on select models, there's a Honda built for how you ride. Visit Carolina Honda Powerhouse today and count on a Honda to get it done. Exit 70 off I-20. CarolinaHonda.com. For your safety, read the owner's manual and always wear helmet and eye protection. Honda motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides are for riders 16 years and older.
Plus text tags entitled with approved credit. Call 888-320-6359 for details. Spend your money elsewhere this Black Friday weekend. JT doesn't want it. Buy a new JT's Kia and don't spend a dime out of your pocket. Drive away in a brand new JT's Kia with 0 down payment. 0 payments for 6 months. 0% for a full 6 years. Upside down, trade in your old car and get up to 25% more. Get a new car. Spend no money this holiday weekend at JT's Kia. I-77 at Killian Road. Season of New Tradition sales event with approved credit. JT's Jeep Ram is awash in high-quality used vehicles. This is an amazing opportunity for anyone trying to build or rebuild credit. Choose from over 20 vehicles under $11,000 and 100 cars and trucks under $20,000, like a 2024 Hyundai Tucson, just $18,990. And the best part, just $99 down and you're riding. Credit concerns? See what JT can do for you. JT's Jeep Ram 378 Lexington.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hostetler Brown. If you recognize this sound, it's time to get your estate planning back online. Take the planning quiz at lawyerlisa.com/quiz to see if your estate plan is as outdated as dial-up.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Scott here with Traditions Fine Jewelers, letting you know about our Black Friday savings this weekend. Get diamond earrings at incredible prices. 1/2 carat total weights for just $249, 1 carat for $399, and 2 carats for only $799. Looking for gemstone jewelry? Take 20% off plus an extra 20% off on all sterling silver gemstone jewelry. Beautiful pendants, bracelets, rings, and earrings. Traditions Fine Jewelers, where the Midlands get engaged.
It's the Game Network Traffic Report.
All looking good on the highways this morning. Weather-wise, not looking too bad. Going to be sunny today, just cooler than we've been experiencing. Looking for a high of about 51, 50 tomorrow. And again, that overnight low tonight, going to get down to about 27. So tailgating tomorrow, it's going to be brisk, but still going to be fun. We'll enjoy it. And come Sunday, 60 for the high, maybe an afternoon or evening shower will be rolling in, but the sun working its way out right now. It is 30 on the early game.
With former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
Touchdown, Carolina! Football Friday on the Game, sponsored by Bryant's Heating and Cooling. Your comfort is their business. Call today, 803-796-1788 for 24/7 HVAC service.
One of the best quote machines in the SEC is going to be giving out those quotes at the same place he's been giving out those quotes for about the last 5 years. And that's Eli Drinkwitz over at Missouri. Now, it may just look like your run-of-the-mill news story where head coach in the SEC signs an extension, is going to be at Missouri for a while. But it's significant because he was supposed to be a name in the craziest college football coaching carousel and was supposed to be a big-time mover, maybe a backup option for a school like Florida or LSU that wanted a Lane Kiffin. Or maybe Penn State might be intrigued with getting somebody like Eli Drinkwitz. That was a name that allegedly has been calling around and seeing exactly what's out there, right? Plenty of trusted reporters have said that has been the case, right? And that for Missouri, it's a significant deal to lock him up long term. But it's not just about Eli Drinkwitz. The story is not just about what Eli's done at Missouri and what he's going to want to continue to do at Missouri. What this is a real referendum on this coaching carousel. And if you thought some programs were going to learn from their mistakes of signing big contracts to coaches of guaranteed money and then having to be beholden to a buyout once things don't go the way they want it to, guess again. Because now we're getting into economics. We talk about, when it comes to like prices, supply and demand. There is a large demand for top-notch college football coaches at places that demand excellence, right? Double entendre with the word demand. Mm-hmm. But the supply is going to be more limited. Rhett Lashley is going to be staying at SMU. He was a big name, right? That would have been the perfect Arkansas fit, but he's not going to go to Arkansas because he's locked himself up at SMU. I don't think Brent Key leaves Georgia Tech. That's another big name that was in this. I highly doubt he leaves. I even more highly doubt that Clark Lee leaves Vanderbilt. He's a Vanderbilt grad. He's a Nashville native. It would take a king's ransom to be able to get him out of Vanderbilt. I sincerely believe he is where he wants to be, and that is what his forever dream job is being the coach at Vanderbilt. So now with Eli Drinkwitz off the table too, we're kind of running a little low on big-name coaches that a lot of these schools that are proud football programs that want to win national championships have in terms of bringing in guys that can win them a national championship. There is no national championship winning coach that will be available for places whose expectations are to do that. And this is why somebody like Lane Kiffin, who, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, has Lane Kiffin ever won a Power 4 conference championship as a head coach?
He has not.
He has not.
No.
He won a couple of Conference USA titles, conference champions. I'll give him more credit for that than anybody else. But has he ever coached as a head coach in a college football playoff game?
No.
He has not.
He has not. Has he ever won a national title as a head coach?
He has not.
And we're talking about him getting an offer of $90 million guaranteed from LSU, with $25 million separately pledged to him to build a roster with. We would find that to be absurd. But his name is Lane Kiffin. He is of one of the most interesting characters and stories in college football, in terms of personalities, in terms of history. The demand for Lane Kiffin is significantly higher than what his production has been as a head coach in college football, right? Even you could look at Brian Kelly and say, Brian Kelly took Notre Dame to a couple 4-team college football playoffs, or he took him to a national title game before we even had a college football playoff. So maybe that number would be more appropriate for somebody with that type of history. But what we're getting in college football right now, guys, is the next level, not learning your lesson type deal in this coaching carousel. Because James Franklin's already gone to Virginia Tech. Oklahoma State, I think, did the right thing in hiring Eric Morris before Arkansas could get their filthy mitts on him. Alex Golesh might be going to Arkansas. There's maybe some smoke there. And even so, that's going into the group of 5 to be able to get that head coach. But we're reaching a supply and demand crisis for these big-time schools who made rash decisions, emotional decisions, to part ways with their head coaches, and now won't be able to backfill them with maybe the guy that is going to take them to the promised land, which you know what that means. In maybe 3 years, we are all going to have very similar discussions about the same schools that we have been talking about just in the last few weeks. What the Eli Drinkwitz signing didn't just tell me anything about Missouri, but it honestly is a referendum on how teams are going to learn a lesson the hard way. This coaching carousel cycle is only for us to be able to have these same type of discussions in the near future, which doesn't break my heart any.
Yeah, it's good. It's great content. But as you said about Missouri, it also tells me, well, first I have to have a slight correction with you, Elijah. You said that Eli Drinkwitz was calling around, and we all know that he was not calling around because he's been focused on one game at a time, and he doesn't know what's going on, and he ignores the outside noise. And so I have to make a slight correction now.
Slight correction.
People on his behalf might have been calling, but he didn't know anything about it. Let's be clear about that. Now, the next thing is that what is Missouri doing? You got a dude who's calling around trying to actively get out, and so you say, hey, can you please stay? Can you give us more? We're going to give you more money. Because I guarantee you, when the next thing happens, Eli Drinkwitz is out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So they just showed how desperate they were in this tight market, that they're like, a guy who was actively trying to leave, and now that I've positioned that he didn't get the job that he wanted, which may be interesting. Maybe Florida has something up their sleeve that we don't know about. He doesn't get the job that he wants, and now he comes back to Missouri and says, hey, give me more money to stay.
Ooh. I mean, also, they could just tell you what the coaching market is right now, because if he were to have left Missouri, where's Missouri in the pecking order of best jobs here? Maybe they realize we might not be able to backfill that position with a guy who's winning 9 games a year.
Sure. Well, and to supplement that, too, I think maybe he's getting to that point of realization where, like, hey, I can win 9 games, 10 games here, but like eventually every season we're going to run into a team that's better than us. Like Missouri's never, in my opinion, and look, I will eat these words if it ever happens, but Missouri is, to me, always one of those near the top but middle of the pack hopefuls in the SEC. Like, they're a good football team. Year in, year out. They're going to win more than, 7 games probably every year.
High floor, moderately high ceiling.
100%. And to that point, though, like, you can only, in my opinion, I think you can only go so far. And I think Eli is starting to see that because he is a good coach. He calls really good plays. He puts together really good teams. But you can only go so far in Como, is what I think kind of the realization was when he starts making these calls, even though he's always focused on the one game at a time thing, and he actually didn't do that. I do think there's I don't know, it's conflicting, but I do think there's some sort of thought process in his mind that I would fully understand if he says, I'm running out of options here. Like, I keep building pretty good teams, but they're not good enough, and I don't have enough to be good enough.
Mm-hmm. And you know what my answer to that, Nick, would be, and I think you're right, that's how the coaches are thinking. I would say you're not good enough. Because if you can win 10, then you can get over the hump, but y'all are too soft to try and actually challenge yourself to do it, and you'd rather go somewhere else. No different than all of the way you disparage the players for jumping in the portal. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing that the coaches are doing. They don't want to just stay somewhere. If you have enough resources to get to where you can win 9 or 10, then you can figure out a way to get over the hump. But they don't want to do that. They want to take the easy way out. Mm-hmm. That's everybody got on Kevin Durant for joining the Warriors, but that's all these coaches are trying to do. They're just trying to get to the next place where everything is there for them instead of actually staying somewhere, building, and getting over the hump. But they don't want to do that because they want to take the easy way out.
Which is exactly what made Marcus Freeman take Notre Dame to a national championship before Brian Kelly took LSU to a playoff. That much more sweet. Delicious. Now, our man Luke Bajak's going to join us next because we have some big high school games tonight. He's up next, brought to you by Pay More.
The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach, and now 96.9 HD3 The Game in Charleston.
The Lawyer Lisa Special Teams Contest is back. If the Gamecocks score a special teams touchdown, you could win cash. Just go to 1075thegame.com and register. Like Lawyer Lisa on Facebook, and you could win an extra $100.
We'll talk about coaching jobs that are great or maybe not great all day long, but one company that does a fantastic job every single time, but doing it for nearly 30 years when it comes to roofing and waterproofing, my friends over at Mid-State Roofing. And that history that I just laid out of success in that industry is your assurance that the professionals at Mid-State Roofing will give you that proper advice, service, and most importantly, the results, right? A results-based industry, roofing and waterproofing is, and they do that to the very specific needs of your facility. Very versatile in the type of buildings that they can help you with, whether it's high-rise, or hospitals, or the jobs manufacturing to industrial. What Mid-State Roofing has been doing is designing and installing bonded systems that give you a protective guarantee to keep your operation dry and running long into the future. Give them a call, 803-356-1919. You can always hit them up online at midstateroofing.com. But remember, if you have a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek.
Sponsored by Mattress Firm. Need better sleep? Score huge deals on your perfect bed at Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Stop in today and let the sleep experts find the right upgrade for your unique needs. Mattress Firm. They make sleep easy.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
Plus text tags and title with approved credit. Call 866-243-4623 for details. Forget Black Friday. It's Green Friday at JT's Jeep Ram. Get up to $10,000 in rebates for your Christmas shopping. Drive away in a new Ram or Jeep today with up to $10,000 in rebates in your pocket. That's right, it's your money. Upside down, trade in your old car and get up to 25% more. Before holiday shopping, see JT and drive away with up to $10K in your pocket. Highway 378 Lexington, JT's Jeep Ram. Black Friday sales event.
Looking for a reliable propane provider? Choose Palmetto Propane, your complete solution for home and business. With over 65 years of experience, we provide exceptional service you can count on. From Rinnai tankless water heaters to commercial fuel services to run your business, Palmetto Propane delivers. Let us create a customized solution that works for you. Visit us at palmettopropane.com to learn more.
They say perfection is a journey, and at Carolina Stone Craftsman, that journey leads us to just outside Columbia in Chapin. Our marble, our granite, our quartz, they're sculpted with the highest craftsmanship, honed with family values, and delivered with professional results. Explore the craftsmanship of each slab, see all our new showroom has to offer, and experience our custom hardscapes. Crafted to perfection, experience Carolina Stone Craftsman's workmanship. Take us for granted. Your journey to perfection starts with us, Carolina Stone Craftsman, just beyond Columbia and Chapin and beyond your expectations. CarolinaStoneCraftsman.com.
Kohl's Black Friday deals are here. Grab your coffee and put on your sneakers because it's go time. Through Saturday, save up to 50% on everything from toys to beauty faves, winter styles, and more. Plus, earn $15 Kohl's Cash for every $50 spent. Yep, that's extra Kohl's Cash. So run, don't walk. Just hold on tight to that coffee. Select styles, some exclusions apply. Coupons and Kohl's Cash do not apply to Sephora. Offers end November 29th. See store or Kohls.com for details.
Black Friday savings are here at the Home Depot, which means it's time to add new cordless power to your collection. Right now, when you buy a select battery kit from one of our top brands like Ryobi or Milwaukee, you'll get a select tool from that same brand for free. Click into one of our best deals of the season and stock up on tools for all your upcoming projects. Get Black Friday savings happening now at the Home Depot. Limit 1 per transaction. Exclusions apply. Full eligible tool list in-store and online.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free. It's the Game Network Traffic Report.
As it has been all morning, and it's something we've enjoyed. No accidents to report. Not really a lot of slowdowns to speak of either. And as far as your forecast goes, yeah, pretty doggone nice. 51, I mean, yes, cooler than we had before, but sunny skies. The overnight low, though, 27 for tonight. So it's going to be cool tomorrow morning. 50 for our daytime high tomorrow, 60 on Sunday. Then we're back in the 50s next week. Showers maybe on Sunday and early into next week. Right now, though, sunny and 30 on the early game.
Football Friday on The Game, sponsored by Bryant's Heating and Cooling. Your comfort is their business. Call today, 803-796-1788 for 24/7 HVAC service.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
We have tickets to the state title game on the line tonight. Yes, I know I just said some magic words that always get people's ears perked up, but we do have SCHSL state title games on the line tonight. It's always the goal of every high school football team to be able to practice on Thanksgiving. And the teams we're talking about with our man Lou Bajak from the state newspaper got to participate in said practice yesterday. And as always, our high school football segment sponsored by Paymore. Need fast cash? Paymore is Columbia's go-to spot for fast cash on your tech. Visit them in Harbison and Sand Hills. And Lou, the first games I want to get to, we'll start in 5A D2. Northwestern, traditional power, taking on Indian Land, fueled by one future Gamecock, Sequel Patterson, who single-handedly, it felt like, won that game for them this past week against this past week to get themselves into this game, winning an absolute thriller to be able to get to this point. They got Northwestern, tough test ahead. How do you feel about that game going into tonight?
Well, Indiana, you mentioned the comeback against T.O. Hanna, and now they get Northwestern for a second time this year. And they're the only team to beat Indian Land this year. Northwestern going for their second straight title. I think this is their 22nd state championship semifinal appearance. So they've been there, and Indian-Land, it's their first, and it's going to be a fun night for them. I mean, it's great to be in this position. It's going to be a tough task, though.
Yeah, certainly.
A little bit of injury at the end of that game last week. Matt Kusia, the quarterback, got hurt. Then Patterson came in, moved a quarterback, threw a 90-yard touchdown pass, game-winning touchdown pass, and then he had a monster night. And they're going to need a monster night from him, and they're going to have to slow down this Northwestern offense, which has been just chugging all year as they look to get back to the state championship game.
And the winner of that gets the winner of Irmo and Berkeley. I know our pal Chris Deering is very invested in that game, but it's going to be tough for Berkeley. They got to go to W.C. Hawkins Stadium and take on a really good Irmo team that has shown some really great flashes this season. Are we expecting another Irmo Northwestern 5A D2 championship game?
Yeah, that's what I picked before when the brackets came out, and I see that happening. I mean, I just think Irmo, they're tested. I mean, Whitenall gave them all they could handle. I mean, looked like Whitenall had the momentum last week, but every time that they got close there in that second half, they had the ball and had a chance to take the lead. Irmo came up with the big stop and the big play right after it. And I think if they could run the ball consistently, Dobson continues to be mistake-free, and they could just be able to use their offense and defensive line against Berkeley. I think, yeah, we could have a rematch next Friday night in Orangeburg.
Now, our man Preston Thorne's going to be very locked in on what happens in 5AD1 because tonight, Dutch Fork takes on Dorman. Feels like these teams meet in the playoffs pretty frequently, but they're playing for a trip to the state championship, and the winner of that game takes on the winner of Preston Thorne's Somerville Green Wave in James Island. Who do we think is playing in Orangeburg coming out of that division?
I think it's Dutch Fork. They've been there, tested, and I think Dorman's going to give them a really good battle tonight. But, I mean, they win tonight, this will be 10 straight championship appearances in a row, which is pretty remarkable for a program at the highest level, 5A level, to make 10 straight championship appearances. And I think it's a toss-up to the other one. I mean, James Island pulled out a thriller. Both teams won close games last week, and James Island went in on a last-second field goal. And I think it should be a fun matchup, but two teams closer together, and I think they'll be packed and a great atmosphere down in the Charleston area tonight.
I need to make sure I add something here. The James Island Trojans have not won in Somerville John McKissick Memorial Stadium since 1981.
Woo! So you're telling me Langston Moore
bringing the pack there, man.
Roll wave.
Wow. That would be something. I mean, wow. I did not know that.
Are there any side bets between Preston Thorne and Langston Moore for this?
This man is currently blowing up my phone with memes talking about they ready at 8:30 in the morning. Now, I don't know what's – you can tell when some people haven't been to these heights before. I'm worried that they may not be able to handle the pressure that comes with this big of a game. But good for them. They've had a great season.
Oh, we call that the Preston Thorne Langston Moore Bowl. With a trip to the state title game on the line. Lou Bajek is with us right now. In 4A, we have South Point taking on Westside, and then defending state champ South Florence taking on Gray Collegiate. Now, Gray, in this spot, they've been pretty dominant this season. They escaped a really close game against Hilton Head. What do you think the chances are that Gray is able to get past South Florence? Easier said than done. And then what do you expect to see from Jazavian Currents and South Point against Westside?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for Gray tonight, but I think they got the weapons to put up some points. Can their defense slow down that power for the running game of South Florence? They've been South Point kind of been 1-2 all year, and people were thinking that's going to be the matchup. But Gray could definitely throw a wrench in it tonight, and they got a great freshman quarterback in Xavier Wright, and some weapons at receiver, running back. So if it could put up some points and take some pressure off that defense. The other way, I just think South Point runs all over Westside. I just don't think Westside made it to the state championship. I mean, they're looking for their third championship appearance in a row. But this South Point team's really good, and I think that they're going to have their way tonight with Westside.
Already getting texts from Langston Moore. Oh, this is now I'm invested in this football game. I've never been more invested than I am right now. Oh, but going down to 1A real quick, Lou, before we get you out of here, Bamberg Earhart been one of the been a really good story so far this season. They're in the lower state championship game against Cross tonight. The winner of that game gets Louisville and Lamar. We've had a lot of people calling into our show, giving us Bamberg Earhart scores, and have been really invested in that program. What do you see them doing tonight and their chances of being able to become state title winners here in December?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, the numbers they put up. I mean, if you look at just the offensive numbers I wrote about early this week, yeah, I think it's going to be tough for Cross. But, I mean, Cross, they got Caden Ramsey, South Carolina commit. They've been in this position before. They're looking to get back for their second straight championship. But Bamberg beat them, I think, it was 2 years ago in this spot. So it should be a great matchup. And so Louisville-Lamar. Louisville-Lamar could be the best matchup of the night, I think, or the closest matchup of the night. We ranked them, and we ranked that pretty high. I think it's has a chance. It was the first time they met, and I think Louisville got a little bit better. And even though they got to go on the road tonight, they've been playing really well.
That's Lou Bajak, and our high school football segment's always sponsored by Paymore. Need fast cash? Paymore is Columbia's go-to spot for fast cash from your tech. Visit them in Harbison and Sand Hills. Lou, appreciate you as always, my man. Should have a good night of high school football action, and look forward to seeing you in Orangeburg here in just a short time, here in a week for the state title games.
Sounds good, guys.
Good stuff there from Lou Bajak. Follow him at Lou at the State. I know I'm going to be locked in on his Twitter account all night long to be able to get as many updates as humanly possible. Lou's a winner, and the winners tonight will be winners because they will get to go to a state title game to be the ultimate winners. But we'll give you our winners of today's show next, brought to you by the Golden Spur. And always a winner, too. My friends over at the Acton Law Firm, because, look, sometimes if you get caught in that pesky IRS maze, it can be really hard. It can almost feel hopeless at times. But John Acton and his team at the Acton Law Firm have been so good for many years here in the state of South Carolina at helping thousands of families and businesses just like yours be able to get one step closer to a worry-free life and maybe some more financial freedom. 803-771-9800, that is the number to call to be able to set up a free consultation with John and his team at the Acton Law Firm. Look, they understand the challenges that you or your business can face, because it's not just personal income tax issues they've dealt with. They've also helped people deal with business tax issues. But that's why that they are so equipped to offer you that peace of mind and help your family or your business escape that pesky IRS maze. Again, that number is 803-771-9800, or you can always visit them at EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTONLawFirm.com.
The Game Network welcomes our new affiliate 96.9 WIWF HD3 in Charleston, South Carolina.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
I'm Jody Mack with a Sports Minute. The abbreviation the GOAT is often used in sports parlance these days. Let me give you a different GOAT abbreviation. Get over after Thanksgiving. That's what we've got going on at Lincoln Financial Field today in the Black Friday Amazon game between the Eagles and the Bears. One of these dueling 8-3 squads will come up short, and not even free shipping shopping will reduce the blackness of their day. The winning team, however, will get over after Thanksgiving and enjoy their one-day GOAT status. I'm Jody Mack.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Charlie's battery is struggling to start. Not ideal before the tailgate, so he goes to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone,
where a friendly AutoZoner tests his battery for free. Looks like he needs a new one, so he gets a Duralast battery.
have fun and stay warm.
And he makes it to the tailgate early enough to get his favorite spot. Free battery testing and charging. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
like you lost your edge, maybe it's time to call with the Dr. Bolt Knight in the men's clinic. The men's clinic with Dr. Dan Bolt Knight is not just some faceless, nameless online physician. You get to actually know Dr. Dan Bolt Knight, and he can help you get your labs tested. What are we tested for? We're tested for low testosterone. And your free consultation is absolutely free with Dr. Dan Bolt Knight. The men's clinic, you'll find a non-threatening, comfortable environment that's open to hearing your concerns. I know you concerned about who you're talking to or where you're talking to. Dr. Bolt Knight will handle all those processes for you. So don't wait. Call him at the men's clinic at 803-875-MENS. That's the men's clinic at 803-875-MENS.
Hello, I'm Kevin, President of the Dementia Society of America. Request our free guide. It includes information on brain health checkups and much more. Go to 1-800-DEMENTIA.org or call 1-800-DEMENTIA. Your brain will thank you.
Yes! I finally got my first phone!
It is exciting. Let's learn a few things about online safety first.
We can secure our world. Online security depends on you and me. Install updates, make better passwords. Think before you click, use multiple factors. That's how we can secure our world.
Learn more at CISA.gov/secure-our-world.
Hi, I'm Connie Britton. I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
With former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
Football Friday on The Game, sponsored by Bryant's Heating and Cooling. Your comfort is their business. Call today, 803-796-1788 for 24/7 HVAC service.
Winners.
We are demanding winners. As always, brought to you by the Golden Spur. My winner for today's show. Before I give you my winner for tomorrow's game between Carolina and Clemson, pettiness in rivalries. Because Somerville and James Island has taken a whole new turn for me. I did not realize I'd be as invested in this as I am right now because we are reaching unhinged levels of this group chat between Preston Thorne and Langston Moore. And now I'm trying to concoct side bets. I'm trying to create chaos. There's a fire, and I'm trying to stoke it as much as possible. I want to disturb every fire marshal in the state with how much I'm stoking these flames. But the pettiness in this rivalry is wonderful.
Texas A&M level.
This guy is following me around the internet. He's digital stalking me because they're finally getting to a big game, and I'm so happy for them. But it's going to end tonight, Langston. So yes, I'm talking to you. It's been real, it's been fun, but go back to what you've been doing. Green Wave for now and forever.
Oh man.
Roll Wave, yeah. I'm with Preston on this one. I grew up watching them dominate, so I can't choose anything else.
Let's go, man.
I'm going to give a winner to South Carolina fans, the fan base.
Yes.
Because, again, we talked about it earlier, but as a collective fan base, this team, or these fans have been through the pits. They've been at the highest. They've seen it all, and they keep showing up no matter what. Give me the Gamecocks and their fan base any day of the week. They might be upset. They might be frazzled. You might see some stuff on Twitter that you'll be like, why would you even conjure that thought? Doesn't matter. That guy who said something terrible last Tuesday is probably going to be in the stands Saturday cheering his heart out.
Mm-hmm.
You say what you want when you're mad, and then you still root for that team because you love them, you care about them. A lot of you probably wear the ring. I know I do, proudly.
Yep.
And I can't wait for noon tomorrow. And I know the rest of Gamecock Nation can't either. I'm ready to run through a brick wall right now, man. I'm so fired up.
That's awesome. Preston, your winner for today's show.
My winner for today's show is rivalries because they're just so much fun, man. It's just the idea that you get a chance to win a game on one day and then you get to pay it off for the next 364 days, however long that lasts. And you get to wear your shirts, and you get to talk trash, you get to tell your jokes, you get to do all the things. So that being said, obviously this is a huge weekend for in Gamecock Land. We got to get this one because I have all my Clemson jokes lined up, all these things that I need to do, and I'm ready to go. So yes, rivalry, the big winner for the weekend.
Preston's ready to get those things fresh and broken out for Monday's show. But I'll give my winner for tomorrow's game, South Carolina 31, Clemson 27. I think it delivers in the fun factor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a couple of years ago, it was my first Carolina-Clemson game, and it was that 16-7 slog in which the only offensive touchdown was scored by one Luke Doty as a wide receiver, right? I vividly remember that. I remember being like, man, this is one of the most boring football games I've ever seen. Last year was one of the best. It might be my favorite football game I've ever covered professionally that I've been to and was working, right? That might be my favorite one. I think there's still a lot of vitriol between the programs because of just how good that game was and what it meant for South Carolina to win that game. I think Clemson's going to bring it. I think they're going to bring it. I think we'll see a solid game from Cade Klubnik. But I trust South Carolina to be able to engineer more points against Clemson's defense, which 3 weeks ago I probably would not have said. I would not anticipate saying this. I trust them to be able to find a rhythm, be able to score enough to be able to win this game. Mm-hmm. I think both teams will get theirs. South Carolina holds on. I have 31-27 as the final.
I like that. I like that final. I like that.
Yep, I do too. I think I'm going to go 35-24. I think South Carolina gets a defensive touchdown.
Ooh, that'd be a big
spurs
difference.
Some energy. They get a pick on Cade Klubnik because, again, he's one of those that's still only looking at one side of the field. Give me the Gamecocks.
I think I know where Preston's rolling with this, too.
Man, come on. I rarely pick a game. I rarely pick a game period because I don't like picking against us. But this one, I'm going to have to go with the old tried and true, man. Cox by 90.
Oh, I love it. Next time you hear our voices, we'll be reacting on our Final Reaction Monday to one of the best rivalries in college football, Carolina and Clemson. Though it's always a winner. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri, they'll break this game down coming up next.
Broadcasting